Yo, what's up, everybody? For next week's episode, we're having Nate Madden back on for another edition of our death metal roundtable discussion. And here are our picks. Nate's choice is the new Sunless album, I Limb. The highlight song to listen to is Spiraling into the Unfathomable. My pick is the new Vildhjarta album, Mastadin Under Vatten, and my highlight song that I've picked to check out is Heart Smear. And lastly, Bill's pick is the new Arcspire record, Bleed the Future, with the highlight song being Bleed the Future. So tune in to listen to us get down with these. And here is our feature presentation. You can cut that out, please.
No.
Yeah.
You did it. Dang.
Keep this in too.
It's stuck in your head.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jason here.
And Bill.
With another episode of Nothing's for No One, featuring our guest from the California Death Metal Podcast, Mr. Joel. How are you, dude?
What's up? Thanks for having me, man.
Dude, thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
we're stoked to fucking have you on, man.
Great. We got three people now from the podcast.
Yeah, we got three of you guys now.
I know, right? I just need Casey, and you got
Casey's next in line,
quadfecta.
I got to hit him up. I got to hit him up, and we got to get in touch and get it going. But yeah,
he's down. He's down.
Okay, fuck yeah. Yeah, this is fucking insane, dude. If you had told me, like, in 2009 that I would have you on our show, I would be like, what are you talking about? Like, what?
That's fucking crazy. Yeah. No, that's cool, man.
Yeah, it's fucking cool. Nuts. So we can't thank you enough for coming on and fucking kicking it with us. Yeah, man. How you doing out there? You're in Santa Cruz, right?
Santa Cruz, sunny Santa Cruz. It's a very nice day. Just got back from a little overtime work, but
nice.
That got, like I was talking to you earlier, like got canceled and got it was just like constantly, and I've been like already kind of fucking with your guys' schedule like last week and stuff, and I was like, God damn it, they probably fucking hate me. But no, I'm glad to finally be on here, man. I was super stoked. Actually, I think it was on the podcast you did with us that I like even was like, dude, I want to be on your, like, oh, let's fucking do this again. I'm totally down. So I'm fucking stoked you guys have me back.
Yeah, dude, and we have like our podcast is like the formatless podcast, so we just fucking go in literally any direction that we want to go in. Good. Just because it's like we tried doing something similar to what you guys did. We actually just found out, by the way, when is it? Next week is our anniversary.
Yes,
next week is our 6 year anniversary of doing this podcast. So.
Pretty crazy.
Damn, that's cool.
We've been doing it for a while, and I remember the first episode was me talking about a Spawn of Possession album, and we were talking about how sick it was, but then we realized we were like, man, this is going to be too hard to fucking like do it this way.
Keep it going.
Yeah, and it was just like, you know, once we started realizing we could just have our friends on the show and talk about anything, it just opens that window so much, and then it's like definitely everybody's down to come. But it's so much fun because it's like. We hit up an old buddy of ours we saw at a show last night. We told him, we were like, yo, you got to come on our show sometime. And he was just like, well, what do I talk about? What are we going to do? And I'm just like, dude, anything you fucking want,
just
man.
Fucking hang out.
Yeah, that's literally all it is.
He said, he was like, I haven't really kept up with metal. I was like, oh no, that's fine. Like, we don't just talk about metal. Like, we just talk about whatever you want to talk about. Yeah.
Anything, any shit, man. So
that's fun. It's just very conversational and like
talk about socks.
I need to get socks too today. No lie. I'm actually going
socks
to get some fucking well, dude, I just invested into.
We can talk about
so Joel,
both.
yeah, this is actually good because Joel, you probably know way more about this than I do. And my bass player Alex, who was on the show with me, has been like super into like investing into coins now to try and get some money.
Yep. Apparently, this guy at 7-Eleven made $40,000. I was like, awesome. What are you still doing?
Do you know which one?
I don't know. Some goofy fucking
Alex
name.
has gotten so into it. He literally convinced me to put $10 into a Shiba coin.
Yeah.
So
We're talking about. Yeah.
I got some Shibas.
Yeah,
fuck yeah.
That's all I have, and like I'm very inexperienced with it, but it's like Alex is so fucking into it, and I'm on Lambgoat yesterday, and I'm just looking at like the articles. There's this article with the singer from Randy Blythe from Lamb of God, and then the singer Dez from Devil Driver, and I guess they're investing in like a new coin, or like they're I don't know exactly what it is, but it's called Chakra Coin.
Okay,
and it's just hilarious to me because I sent the link over to Alex immediately.
He was like, buy it all.
Yeah, Alex was just like, oh yeah, he was like, I'm definitely getting some of this shit. And then like, he got wasted at that show last night, and I drove him home. And he's like looking at me, and I was just like, dude, so you're really gonna get some of that Chakra Coin? He's like, yeah, how fucking dumb is that? I'm like, it's really dumb. And he was like,
I don't even
get some.
Still to buy it. Yeah, fuck it.
I don't even understand the meme coins. I don't understand like what they're funding or how they're becoming valuable, or like the stuff like with the Shiba coin and the Doge coin and shit like that. Like, I don't even get it. I just know that like you put in for like, it's like the Shiba coin, you think about it, it's like 0.00076 right now or something like that. If that shit gets to 10 cents, then you're fucking like, I have like, I think I put $70 in it for fun, and it's like $300 now. So it's like, awesome. It's just like just for fun, might as well just fucking see what happens. It's like one of those ones like, well, what if I don't do it? Like, and I know people that actually, to be honest with you, an old drug dealer that was used to live in Santa Cruz. When I would buy said drugs and he was a total nerd, like total like Silicon Valley ex-programmer guy. And so I'd go over there, and he knew that I worked like in the financial industry kind of a little bit, and he'd be like, dude, this is like 2011 or something, or 12 maybe. And he's like, dude, this fucking Bitcoin, dude, you have to like, it was like $100 at the time. He's all, you have to like fucking get it. He's all, I have like 20 of them. Yeah. And like all this shit. And then it just fucking hit like $60,000, and you just became rich and bought a house somewhere on an island. And that's where he lives now.
That's so fucking sick.
That's
dude.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean,
I was like, God damn it.
Yeah. I didn't listen to him.
We were literally practicing in this same room last week, and Alex was like yelling like, if this gets to a penny, he's like, you know how much money you get if this gets to a fucking penny? And it's like,
it's a band fund to like put into it.
No, I don't. He's never suggested that, and I don't think he would ever. But like,
it'd be funny. Put a couple bucks.
I'm pretty sure everybody in Warforged has put money into it. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I know Max definitely has. I don't know if Jace has or not, but I think he has too. I mean, they also invest in like stocks as well. Like
yeah. Everybody that's big into that.
Gotcha.
All beyond me. I can't fucking handle that. I'm not that kind of a baller,
I know. I got talked in by my boss to buy the AMC stock, the movie stock or whatever. Movie theater. Supposedly, there's like rumors that it's going to be like $11,000 a share, and it's like I got it at like $70 or $60 and just bought a couple of them or a couple shares or whatever, and like it's gone up like a little bit, but like there's all these rumors like on the underground that it's going to go up to like $10,000 or something. So I'm just like, well, if it does,
fucking awesome. Yeah, I hope it does.
I'll cash out. But I know,
dude.
me too. Yeah, it's kind of random because ever since that the whole GameStop thing, remember that with the GameStop like GameStop like exploded or something into some crazy fucking amount of money because people, it was like a Reddit fucking thing that people started doing, and all of a sudden
it's fucking ridiculous.
It's weird. I mean, it's kind of cool to see it, like people make that big of an impact on the financial side of things of the country by a fucking Reddit thing, a bunch of kids getting together and doing it, and even like like the apps and stuff was started to like make it like so you couldn't buy that stock anymore. And I was like, what the fuck? Why are you because it's kind of a joke, but they're putting money in still, like they're it's like it's still the same fucking game that all the stock brokers play, but like with smiles on their faces instead of being all serious is all.
It's
the only difference.
Literally what it is, and they're playing the system and then reaping the benefits. I mean, that's what the first Dogecoin was technically too, right? Like a similar thing where it was just like,
and then like joke. Elon Musk like said something about it, and
and
it exploded or something.
The fuck off, dude. Man, Elon controlling the world, dude. Elon smokes weed. It's bad and good at the same time. Like, Jesus, man, it's so fucking funny, dude. It's so crazy.
He's Iron Man. He's basically Iron Man.
Yeah, essentially, it's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah.
And he's married to Grimes, which is like insane. That's so weird to me.
Didn't they break up?
Did they break up? If they have, I have not heard of it yet. But
what's her deal?
Okay,
Grimes. Like she's a pop singer, but she's very her music is very like progressive pop in a way where it's like very weird sounding shit. Like she's got an album and like a made up. It's almost like Bjork, but like a more modern pop take on it.
Okay,
I would describe it as.
I do like some of her language.
Yeah, she does some weird ass shit. Yeah,
Sigaros does.
Who?
Sigaros?
Yeah, Sigaros has an album with made up language on it. Yeah. Dude, that song. Oh my god, that band is so sick. You like that band? You fuck with that band, Sigaros?
Say it again one more time.
They're called Sigur-Rós. They're like a Norwegian band. It's spelled like Sigurros. They're like a post-rock band. I feel like you would fuck with them though, if you did check them out.
I've never even heard of them.
Yeah,
I want to check them out.
Really fucking sick, man. They did an album. It's like the album cover. It's like it's titled like parentheses, like it's 2 parentheses. I'm doing it with my fucking hands right now. I'm not even high yet. And but like every song, it's like the lyrics are all a made up language. Or no, they're from Iceland. They're not from Norway. They're from Iceland. Whatever, dude.
Tom
I don't know.
Better than I do.
Yeah. But they're sick.
Some sort of land.
Yeah. Just insane that when you're like, when you take an artistic project and you get to the point where you're like, I'm taking the liberty to make up my own language. It's like, okay, that's a big undertaking to do. You know, like I wouldn't even start with
that shit. Icelandic is fucking gnarly too. That's like, supposedly that's like, there was this one documentary I saw. Actually, it's a really cool documentary. Excuse me. It's called The Boy with the Golden Brain.
Okay.
And it's about this genius kid that had a seizure when he was a kid.
Oh, damn.
And all of a sudden he's able to like solve the most complex math equations by, he has actually synesthesia. It's kind of like where the last Odious album concept a little bit came from. But he has synesthesia where he sees shapes and colored shapes and blocks and whatever as numbers. So whenever he thinks of a number, a shape pops up in his head, like a purple triangle. And then for like 7, and then like for 432, it's like a fucking weird box with a hole in it or something. And he'll just combine them and it makes another shape, and that's how he does his fucking math. Yeah. But he basically like, so they tested, they actually, his memorization, they tested him. He got 50,000 decimal points of pi, so 3.14, and it just random. He memorized 50,000, which the average human brain can memorize like 9 numbers. Like usually, like, he did 50,000.
That's insane.
Yeah. So, and then he basically they challenged like, okay, if you're really this smart, like we're gonna have you learn Icelandic.
Yeah.
And so he went and just basically learned Icelandic, and they threw him on they gave him 2 weeks to learn Icelandic, and then they put him on an Icelandic TV show and had him be interviewed in Icelandic, and he just fucking nailed it. It's like supposed to be the hardest language.
Like,
what was this called?
Yeah. I think it's called The Boy with the Golden Brain. He's got autism. You can barely tell. He's just a little Asperger's. He's a little awkward, but he's like totally functioning, normal guy. He's just kind of like a dorky guy, but he's been on like Letterman and like, he went on like all these things. So they just go like, they'll just be like, divide fucking, 382 by 50,010 or something. And they'll just be like, they'll bring a calculator out and he'll go past the calculator. Like, fucking crazy.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I know. He says he doesn't even think about it. It's just 2 shapes and they just turn into something, and that's what it is.
It's like without this being offensive, it's almost like modern take on Rain Man, but in the real world, and it's way sicker. The Dustin Hoffman portraying, mental disabilities. That's sick too, though, in itself. Like, I do love that movie.
He actually, in part of the documentary, he goes and meets the actual Rain Man.
Oh, fuck
they bring him.
That's
sick. They go to him. Bring him in. The Rain Man's like more.
Do they challenge them against each other? Hit them against each other?
No, I mean, for math, the guy with the golden brain, I forget his name, he would murder Rain Man. Rain Man's more like, you go like, hey, August 17th, 1971. He's all, it was about 62 degrees and blah, blah. He like knows all the facts from all the days, pretty much, like the weather from all the days. He knows a bunch of facts just from reading books. Like he just has insane comprehension. So he just like, he'll be able to recall random shit if you just talk to him. He'll just take his glasses off. Rain Man just takes his glasses off and just starts like tells you all the facts about anything. You know what I mean? Yeah,
so the question is, which one would the Predator take back to their home world?
Yeah, dude.
I would take the math guy.
Yeah.
Be the math guy all day, dude.
Yeah, easily.
Because he can help you.
Yeah, so fast. Yeah, exactly. So resourceful, dude. Without
Definitely.
All right. Well, Joe, I got to take a hit of this, and I need, like, there's so much. I know that I said we don't have like a fucking format here, but I like, now that we have you here, there's so many stories right now that are flowing in my brain about like Decrepit Birth back in the day and shit that you need to hear this shit. So like, there's a specific story that Bill has about the show you saw Decrepit with, because Joel was in the band on that tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Before we get there,
Awesome.
Odious, Mortem, and Earthrealm are your current projects, right? Is that right? Am I wrong with those band names?
No, All Realm.
All Realm. Fuck. What did I say? Earthrealm? Yeah. God damn it. I'm sorry.
It's close. It's close.
All right. I'm getting there. Yeah. We
haven't released anything, so you can call it whatever you want.
All right. Well, then that makes me feel a little better about it, because I was definitely, I was like, I don't know if this band has anything, because I remember when you guys had, what's his face from Son of Aurelius on for the first time on your show, you guys were talking about that project, and I was like, oh, I have to like pay attention to that. Like, I have to remember that.
Catalog it.
Like, I smoke too much weed now. I don't remember music as much anymore. Like, I'm not even
totally. It's basically... Oh, go ahead. Sorry, we're a little delayed. We're delaying.
I gotcha. I was just saying that it's like, for me, I just can't remember metal band names as much anymore. It's very difficult at this point.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, I used to be like so on top of that shit. Now I'm like, it's like all over my head, like shit. But anyway.
You get kind of overwhelmed with so much shit coming out and stuff like that. Now, I mean, basically, All Realm is I don't know if you know, that's a band, Son of Aurelius. It's basically like, I want to say basically a continuation of that. We were going to call it Son of Aurelius because it's basically, I mean, it's Carrie's in it and Riley's in it, the singer, Son of Aurelius and the Legion and stuff like that.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, and there was going to be, we were going to have the drummer of Son of Aurelius originally do it. He ended up moving. And then Casey was like, I'll fucking do it. And Casey's been helping out a lot with the writing and doing the drums and stuff. And he's sending us crazy drums. And that's so right awesome. Now it's basically like a mixture of Odious and Son of Aurelius.
Okay. Cause you said there wasn't any music released at this point, right?
No, there's not. We have an album 90% done.
Cool.
Probably.
Fuck yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to hear that. Cause
it's more melodic. It's like a melodic style. It's not, it's not going to be along the lines of like, Odious or Decrepit or anything. It's kind of like I don't really want any harsh, like any screaming or yelling or growling in it. There'll probably be some of that in there, but I don't know if you really heard Son of Aurelius under a Western Sun.
Oh, yeah.
That one album they put out. It's like
heard that. It's the shit. I love it. Yeah. I love Son of Aurelius. So
I used to think that because they brought me in the studio to listen to it before they had released anything. And I was like laughing at it. I didn't like it at all. I was like, this is terrible. Like, you guys are going from like crazy technical Swedish style metal and you're going to just start singing now. Like, you're going to get like murdered, dude. And then like, Carrie was like, cause he had me join Son of Aurelius for a little while. He's all, I know you're going to say no. That's how I prefaced it. He's all, you're going to say no, but he's all, just learn one song on guitar. Just learn it. And so he sent me a song and I learned it in like 10 minutes. It was like an older song. And I was like, fuck it, this is fun. I'm having a great time playing this. And then he's all, okay, we'll learn a newer song off Under the Western Sun. And I learned it and I'm like, this is fucking awesome. And then all of a sudden it all clicked for me. I'm like, I fucking love these vocals. Like, I hated them in the beginning because they were just so different. And I was like, I don't want to be any part of this. I don't want this backlash. I don't want to join a band during the backlash. You know what I mean? It's like poor Matt from Cryptopsy had to join. He joined his first album with the clean singing one. And we went on tour with him right when that got released. And he was he was in a depressive state because people were like, we had to cancel shows because people were like making threats against the venue for having them even play.
Whoa, like, Jesus, dude, it doesn't that like suck?
They like hated that. Yeah, they hated it.
I remember when that album, what was it, The Unspoken Kingdom or something like that? Yeah. I actually like that record. For the record, I enjoy that album. But on top of that, I remember when they were it was like crazy how many people were like shit talking that band. Like, I'd seen them on Summer Slaughter that year, 2008, and like they were getting booed by people in the crowd, and it was still sick. Like, those songs are good in my opinion, and that band still rips. Like, and they still ripped it at that show. They've always been good though. Every time I've seen them.
Well, yeah, that was. I mean, for me, I remember hearing that one song that got leaked on, because remember, I don't know if you were ever on those SMN forums back in the day.
I was not, but I know of them.
Yeah, it got leaked on there somehow, and I thought it was like, this isn't them. This is no way this is them. Because it was just the one part that was like, it was a straight singing, and I was like, and it started off with like this bass part, and then just went into the fucking singing right away. And I was like, this is someone's fucking with us. This is not that. I was on team what the fuck too. I was like a shitty little elitist piece of shit, kind of like this was like totally judgmental on so many things, and couldn't have clean vocals like back then. Like that was like, I was in this mode of just kind of, I mean, I did secretly like stuff, but just to kind of hold up the household that we lived in. One of my best friends he was like the guy that managed the record shops, Streetlight Records, was just like, he was the guy that like bought all the albums and stuff, metal albums that I lived with. So he was like ultra, like would hold me to the fire if I listened to anything shitty. He would like just be like, he would just try to like just criticize, be like, dude, that shit sucks. Like, why the fuck you listen to that? Like, but he showed us so much cool stuff too. So it's like there was a double-edged sword a little bit. He would like, I mean, I might have even mentioned this on the podcast. I was like really into Poison the Well and shit back in the day. Like when I was in high school.
That. And that band is awesome.
The band rules.
Yeah. No, totally. And like, I like was like secretly like still like listening to him in my car. And I literally had the CD case of Poison the Well. I think it was the demo that they had, their first demo. Okay. It's like a pink with like a flower on it or something. Sure. And it was just on the back seat on the ground of the back of my car. Like the case was. Yeah. And fucking he comes in, he's all, nice fucking Poison the Well CD, dude. What the fuck you listen to that shit? Like I was like, dude, you looked in my car and looked down and saw that and just like,
oh my god,
it's like real to like catch you on some shit. Like he's gotta be still doing there. I could like roast him for.
Jesus, totally.
And that band's like revolutionary.
And he hated new metal. Totally. Yeah. So he hated all that stuff.
New metal on this show. We're fans. So
I grew up with that.
Yeah, me too.
We welcome it here. So I don't know. Like Bill, definitely it was your jam. I mean,
I grew up in that stuff.
A lot of that shit was your jam. So anyway, I want to bring this back. So okay, you said you were on tour with Cryptopsy when that shit happened. Yeah. Were you in Decrepit when that happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, just the backstory on Decrepit. Make it real quick.
You were young when you joined that band, right? You were very young.
So I was 20 when I joined Odious Mortem.
Damn.
And that was 2003 or 4. And then Casey was like, he's like, I think I'm going to try out for Decrepit Birth on drums. And I was like, all right, well, good luck with that shit. Like, that's like, the Tim Young drumming stuff. I'm like, that was like, at the time I was like, that's not achievable. Really. I don't know if that's God. Like, it wasn't even, and Casey's like, I'm just going to give it oh, totally. He's like, I'm just going to give it a shot. Yeah. And like, so I drove him out. I remember like he jumped in my car. We drove to the, Decrepit's house and fucking just went in and just like nailed it. Like it was like, and everyone's just like, holy shit. And it was cool because he only knew like 2 or 3 songs. And then Decrepit basically, it was this little tiny room we were in. It was probably like fucking, 15 by 15 room, like just a little room. And, I was just standing there and they had the drum machine and Decrepit just played me all of Van Time Begins on guitar for me. Just like, they all just like jammed it and it was all loud and it was all like, they had the Tim Young drums in the background and they were just playing to that. And I was just sitting there just like, oh my, it was like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I was like, you guys are so fucking sick. I was like walking out of there like with my pupils were all huge and I was like fucking flipping out. But anyway, so basically Casey got in Decrepit. So we were kind of like, okay, well, we're like kind of like, we have this connection now. We should get a nice jam spot together. Like there's both bands going on it. We'll just have, and we actually first started jamming with Animosity in their jam spot in Watsonville. And then we decided to get just a solely Decrepit Odious spot. We got
That's nuts. We love Animosity here.
Fuck yeah.
Big Animosity fans.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, I was just hanging out with Naveen last night. We went to go see a show last night.
Oh, that's so sick.
But what's it called? So basically we just, something happened right before, they got offered the Black Dahlia Murder Tour, the Nocturnal Tour.
Yeah, okay. I remember that with Hate Eternal and shit, right?
Hate Eternal and 3 Inches of Blood. So they were
that
like...
was when Nocturnal came out, like back in 2007, I think, or 08,
something like that. Yeah, something around there. And they were like, the bass player was like, he's a father and has a job and stuff like that. And he was like starting to miss practice because of work and he was starting to family stuff. And they were kind of going like, well, like they put me on notice going like, we're going to ask you if he can't do it. So you got about 2 weeks before tour. And so we're going to, by the 2 week mark, he's like, by the 2 week mark, I'll let you know yes or no if we're going to have you. And then like literally like 2 weeks, they're like, you want to do that tour? I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll do that tour.
That's awesome.
So I just jumped. I was right to the fire, dude. It was just like, luckily I catch on pretty quick, and I'm good at like I already knew the songs in my head, so I just had to like put it to a bass.
Yeah.
But as far as like first show was just like, all right, we just drove out to Rochester, New York, and we.
Oh my God, that's a long. Did you guys have any shows on the way there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
I think we might have done. I think we did one in Texas as like a warm up, and we train wrecks. And so we're like,
God.
And we're like, fuck. We're like already just like fucking already like nervous about it. But it was like a dumb train wreck. I remember it was just because like I think Matt went into a solo too early or something, and it was funny to us. But we were still nervous. We're like, oh shit, this is about to be not for play anymore. Right. You know, even though there was actually like 150 people there, it was actually a pretty big show. We were surprised by the turnout. But then we went to Rochester, met up with Black Dahlia. It's snowing and all this shit, and like we go in there and I'm fucking. It's just like we're getting all. They're like, okay, Black Dahlia is done with their sound check because you're the opening band. You get a sound check too. So I was like, okay, let's get all our shit up there. We're about to sound check, and it just fucking Black Dahlia standing in a line with their arms crossed like this.
Oh God!
And they're just like, all right, girl, play a song. I'm just like, fuck. I'm like already like. You know, I just shook their hands like 5 minutes ago, and now like they're all there, like
sizing you up.
Yeah, fucking staring.
Totally, they're doing it because they're the reason why we were on it, because they were like fans. They're the fans that like bring bands out. So like Trevor likes a band and he'll bring you out. Like, and whether you have
so sick.
Whether he thinks like he's like, I think this band needs more recognition, so I need to want to expose them to more people. So everyone needs to hear this band. That's what he did with Decrepit, and so like. Awesome. He kind of was doing the cross arm things, going like, all right, motherfuckers, I brought you here. Let's see what you can do, kind of thing, you know? Which I've talked to him about this like 3 or 4 times, and he said he wasn't doing that. But in my head, he was. He's still a good friend. I love that guy. But anyways, so we did that, and I'm just like, and then the first show was just like sold out, fucking insane. It was like, and Hades Terminal couldn't even make it. So it was just like us and Black Dahlia and Dreams of Blood and shit. Crazy. So like,
did they catch on to the tour though?
They caught on the next show at the BB King.
Not only are you hanging with those guys, you got Eric Rutan watching you and shit. Like,
yeah, well, later that was Eric Rutan doing that. Yeah, and actually, well, it's weird because that was like it was just thrown to the, like I said, thrown to the fire. We've done one small tour before that. My life, and we've done, we did it was like a 30 show tour before that, but before that was just a couple like 3 show tours, 4 show tours, stuff like that.
Weekend runs.
But all of a sudden it got fucking, I'm like coming into every show. Yeah. After like a weekend, and it's fucking Eric Rutan going like, hey, what's up, man? Let's go smoke a joint together. And it's just be you and him smoking a joint. You're just like,
hell yeah.
I didn't know he smoked.
He did at the time. I don't know if he still does, but like he would just be like, I mean, if Eric Rutan just goes like, hey dude, let's go smoke a joint and like jam around and stuff. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So that was like the first week of the tour. Me and him became friends, and me and him and I became friends with Trevor and Brian from Black Dahlia, pretty good friends with them. So like, I was pretty in then. So it was just like so much at once. Like it was just like,
crazy.
And it'd be those things where like, in a lot of like, I remember the third show, it was like the most nightmare scenario for me. It was even worse than the first one. Basically, John, the old guitar player from Black Dahlia, got out like a fucking quarter pound of weed. And he was just like a really fucking gnarly weed. And we're like, start smoking like joints after joints. It's like me, him, and 3 other people. And we smoked like probably 4 or 5 joints. And I have no idea the time or anything, like what time's going on. And the tour manager pokes his head in and he's all right, Decrepit, you're on in 10 minutes. And I was just like, oh, fuck, I am so high right now. Like, I was like,
was that the first show?
Light speed too high to be on stage.
No, that was later on, right?
That was the third show.
Oh, okay.
But it was the biggest show. It was about 2,000 people there.
Holy shit.
And so like so I decided, I'm like, okay, well, it's early. The doors just opened, so I'm not worried too much. I'm not like tripping out too much. And then there was a fucking curtain. It was one of those drop curtain like shows. It was at the Fillmore in Philadelphia, I think. Okay. And at Fillmore at TLA. And I literally poked my head through the little curtain, and it was just fucking a sea of people. And I was like, shit. Like I was like the nerves. And then I go on stage, and then they have a spotlight following me, like one of those guys holding the spotlight. Like one of those and it was following me around stage, and I was stoned out of my fucking mind, and it was just blinding.
Laughing at that,
like blinding me.
That sucks, dude. I would just be like,
I know.
Like, why is this guy fucking with me?
I'd be like, what's this guy?
Like, what did I do?
It just turned me into a statue. It just turned me into a statue.
Dude, I got really high.
It made me a statue. I was like, dude, I can't move.
Yeah. We played this show a couple of years. It was in 2019. It was in Lansing, Michigan, and it was like a one-off for us. But we were playing with Boarworm. We were playing with Mikey's band.
Nice. Yeah,
so it was cool. So it was like a big, like, you know, we were hanging out with our buddy's band, and he's the dude that did our theme song for this episode. He's actually, I think he actually toured with Decrepit after you were in the band. Boarworm did a Summer Slaughter with Decrepit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But they're an awesome band, and we were just chilling and hanging out there. And there was a band on the bill called Dagon, and they're like this melodic death metal type of band. And I guess they're really big in Michigan, and they've been around for years. So there's a fuckload of people there to see that band. Like, have you ever heard of that band Battlecross before? There were dudes from that band at the show to see them.
Oh, wow.
So, and I'm like, why are we fucking headlining? But it was fine. Like, people stayed and hung out. But I got so fucking high that whole day because it was like we were headlining. So it's like, well, I got all day to do nothing. And like, you know, I'm basically chilling in a parking lot smoking weed with everybody and anybody. And I'm like, yeah, let's just fucking go. And we're playing live, and somebody from Boarworm, I forget who it was, but they were just like making faces while I was playing, like while we were playing, and I would like look over, and it was like the funniest thing, dude. It's so funny. And it was just like, I would like couldn't look over there because I was like, okay, yeah, it's just like, I can't do it or else I'm going to break down.
Right. Well, one of the things about like smoking weed and tours and stuff like that is that what I always found is like the reason why that show in Philadelphia was such a like anxiety attack for me was it was the beginning of the tour. Like usually like week 2 or I can get stoned as fuck and go up there and I'm fine. Yeah. Not that I even really smoke weed anymore, but I do every now and then. But I used to smoke like 20 times a day at home. So it'd just be like, and by the time I just get comfortable and I'm like, all right, everything's good now. I could go fucking get like take an edible, be high as fuck and go up there and be like, and love it. Just be like, I'm in my room. You know, I feel like I'm in my room. Sometimes I'm super high. Yeah. I'm just like, I don't see a crowd. I'm just like, yeah, it just feels good. But, yeah, no, I mean, but in the beginning, like of a tour, it's a night, like when you're like still feeling everyone out, you don't really know anyone. It's like, it's a nightmare. Everyone's, cause it's kind of like there's an underlying competition in the beginning of a tour. It's like, all right, this is the package. Like who's going to be the sickest? Yeah. It's like, it's like when we toured with Animals as Leaders, they were fucking opening for us. And I was like, all right, well, they're the sickest. So I guess it's like, that's and I was just telling them, like, you guys are going to be fucking massive. You guys are going to be massive.
Yeah,
dude.
they are.
I'm going to tell my kids that I fucking opened for you, opened for us, you know?
Dude, that's
for
crazy.
Like a month straight.
I remember that was the Summer Slaughter, right? 2010.
Yep.
Yeah, I was at the Chicago date at the fucking House of Blues. Dude, that was a party.
House of Blues. Yeah.
There were so many people I knew at that show. Like from Chicago, obviously. I didn't know any of you guys. I just graduated high school when that happened.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I was fucking 18 at that show.
I still remember that. I remember that show. I remember like specifically they did the curtain thing too. And I remember us being all House set up and they had a curtain closed. Yeah. And then they opened the curtain and it just fucking, it was like sold out. It was just like, looked so sick. Dude, it just looked intimidating. It looked like, I felt like a Spartan, like going. I was so like going against like 300 people. I was there, like, you know, and I was like, felt like I was like, just like it was all high up too, just as people staring at you, and I was like, oh, I specifically just remember the visual that was like, holy fuck, awesome, this is fucking amazing.
Dude, that was one of the last times the Red Chord played Chicago.
Really?
On that tour, the Red Chord like stopped not.
That's right.
That was one of the last times they were in Chicago. It might have been, I don't know for sure, but that was when the last album had just came out, Fed Through the Teeth Machine.
Okay,
they were touring on that, or they were gearing up for that to drop or something. But that album rules. But yeah, man, what a sick fucking lineup!
Red Chord's amazing.
Yeah, the Faceless was on there, like still doing Planetary Duality shit, which was hot. Okay. And then Vital Remains was on that tour. I remember they opened. That was sick. And Animals as Leaders was sick on that show. There's a bunch of Cephalic Carnage was on that tour. Decapitated headlined, I think. That was the year Decapitated was when that was like their comeback to America after VTech.
Totally.
So it's so sick. That had to be so much fun doing that tour.
Oh yeah, Decapitated. I mean, to be honest with you, when people like ask me about death metal and stuff like that and what got me into certain things, like I was working as a young boy. I was like a 15, 14-year-old boy. Yeah. I was like interviewing bands for like new metal bands and shit. I was interviewing like Spineshank and like Soulfly. And I was like telling them, I was telling them basically I was working for Roadrunner as like a 14-year-old kid. Yeah. I was like, they would send me, they would go, okay, backstage passes to whatever Ozfest or whatever. I was like 14.
Were you actually working for Roadrunner or did you just make it up?
No. Basically, I was in Carl Severson, who actually ended up. He's the singer of that band. Nora ended up doing Good Fight Records, and he did a bunch of other. He's got his hands in a bunch of other things. But he was the PR guy at Roadrunner, and I just got in touch with him. I was like, hey, I run this website. I interview bands and stuff like that. So then they started sending me. I was in with them. I was in with Earache. I was in with Century Media. I was in with a couple other ones, but they would just send you a bunch of like a box full of shit all the time.
Yeah.
And they sent me. It was probably 2 months before Winds of Creation came out. They sent me in Winds of Creation, and I was still on the cusp of like my Slayer phase, and was still in Terra, Sepultura. I wasn't like hadn't been baptized into death metal yet. I was like still like was not like ordained death metal. I listened to it because I thought it was crazy, but I didn't like it. I was like,
almost for the novelty.
Yeah, just to show people, because there are people like going like, oh, you think that's sick, and I'm like, oh, you think that's sick? We'll check out Christian Media site or something, and just try to like outdo them and stuff. And then Decapitated is actually probably what got me like clicking with that. Probably 2001 or 2, I got that album, and I literally just like listened to it, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I found out they were children, and I was like, what the fuck?
18 or 16. Like VTech was young.
Something ridiculous.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah,
Christ.
and that actually that along with Morbid Angels, Gateways to Annihilation.
Oh yeah, that's the one for me.
And yep, and Cannibal Corpse is they live cannibalism. I had that VHS tape.
Oh,
and those three things, they were like, those three things were the things that got me finally like, okay, like the growling school. I like the growling. Yeah. And then I immediately started with Decapitated too. So I was like immediately like into the crazy shit. And then like I got like Nihility. How do you say Nihility? Nihility or Nihility?
I think it's Nihility.
Nihility.
Yeah. I've
always called Nihility in my head. So I've just been wrong for decades.
I don't know. That's we're good friends with that band Rivers of Nile. And I like didn't know how to say that word, and I was like, "How do you guys say it?" And they're like, "We say Nile," but they were like, "We think we say it wrong anyway." And we're like, all right, cool."
Do you think it's Nihil? Is it Nihil or Nile?
I think if you look it up in the dictionary, it's Nihil. Like, if you do that, but I don't know.
Yeah,
they're sick band.
I was told luckily it was Nile, so I was like, all right, well, I don't want to be saying. Oh, I love you know when you have like a friend that like shows you a band and they're like, I mean, you already know the band, but then they just say it completely wrong. Like they're like, "Oh, dude, Necrophagist is like the sickest fucking band."
You know him. His name's Danny Rodriguez. He used to do vocals in Fear the Eyes of the Dead.
Oh yeah,
he's the singer in our band, Roman Ring. He does vocals in our band, and that's like he's the king of that dude. When the first time
the master of destroying words.
The first time we were talking about Fallujah, he's like, "Yo, you hear that new Fallujah track?" And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? And then he like showed it to me because I literally had no idea. And then he showed it to me on his phone, and I was like, are you like what?
So you fucking with me?
Yeah, like he's done it. Like there's a band called Red Sparrows.
That's the best one.
Yeah, there's a band Red Sparrows, and he was like, oh, Red Sparrow West. And I was like, wait, what? And then like I looked it up, and like there's a bird on one of their album covers, like a red sparrow on one of their album covers. So it's like, well, I don't really know at this point, but you know, that was like when I first met him too. So I was just like, what's up with this guy?
You got to actually say what's up to Danny for me. I'd love to talk to that guy again. He was backstage at one of the Summer Slaughters or some show we were playing, maybe a Suffocation tour, and he was like, he's all, dude, I'm gonna join through the Eyes of the Dead, and we're gonna fucking play some shows I hear coming up. I'm like, really? Like, holy shit! He had a Severed Savior inverted and inserted shirt on. I still remember that, and I was like, I'd never seen that shirt in person. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, you have one of those shirts? It's like we were in the East. I don't even know where we were, but we were like, this kid just has it there, and he's like, I'm gonna sing for this band. You're gonna be, and I was like, oh shit! And turns out he's this fucking badass vocalist, and we ended up being good friends on the tour and stuff. And I just kind of lost contact with him. I haven't really talked to him since then. But
yeah, he's the man, dude.
No, he's cool, man. I really like him a lot.
Yeah, he loved that episode. That when we went on Cali Death, he loved it. He was like freaking out. He wants to go on your show. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'd love to have him on. I would totally love to. Yeah.
Dude, fuck.
Actually, now on the subject of so my worst mispronunciation of a band, it's a very bad one.
Oh yeah.
Malevolent Creation.
Yeah.
It was definitely a male violent creation.
Well, they got into some trouble.
This is how it looks to me.
Yeah. They got into some trouble.
Yeah.
They called like All Shall Perish the N-words. They called
that was that band. Yeah, I remember that.
I was on tour with All Shall Perish.
Would that happen?
No, I was on tour with All Shall Perish, and they were on a tour bus when this happened, and I was there. I was actually there when it happened, and
wow.
I wasn't part of the conversation, but Ben Overham, the guitar player of All Shall Perish,
was
just like one of the members of Male Violence was drunk, and he was drunk, and he was like on like they were talking about like they were like doing like kind of like the flexing on what they listen to in bands and stuff like that, and I think the quote. That was what Ben told me. Is like, yeah, you guys are pretty good for N-word metal.
Yeah,
dude, that's nuts.
What?
It was either that or like you guys are stupid N-word metal. It was one of the two.
Okay, yeah.
I know. It was pre-cancellation time. So it was like,
cancellation, And
I was like, well, I guess this is how we. I mean, that kind of. I mean, basically at that time, you're just like. That sucks. That's terrible. Like, move on.
That band's got a bunch of ridiculous news surrounding them in the later years. Like, their singer or their guitar player said he like rescued somebody from a robbery in like a gas station. Metal Sucks covered this whole thing years ago, and then it turned out like they ended up uncovering the surveillance footage, and he wasn't helping out at all or something.
Just like standing in the corner.
He was like. He's like helping the robbery.
Yeah. Something like that. I still, I fuck with that band. I love some Malevolent Creation shit, dude.
I've heard that name.
That album.
Yeah.
I love that album. Envenomed. That one is so fucking good. There's some good, they got some good shit. But yeah, I mean, they're white guys from Florida that are like in their fucking 40s now, probably. So, what do you expect at this point? Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, they just little like drunk hicks. Sometimes you'll get some weird stuff out of them.
Yeah, I just remember seeing that article in high school about All Shall Perish and like laughing my fucking ass off. I got a detention because of that article because I wasn't supposed to be on Lamb Goat. And it was on Lamb Goat and Metal Injection, and I read it on both. And I was like, I thought it was so funny. Like, what? At first, I was like, what does this even mean? Like, how do you say that? And then it's like, I don't think there was any black dudes in All Shall Perish at the time, so it didn't even make any sense then. And it was just like
he's referring to because the breakdown stuff is like
the style,
it's kind of like I guess you can kind of think of it as like a hip hop style possibly or something, and those old school death metal guys fucking hated it, and like they were like fuck this shit, and so like and he was probably jealous that bands like that were doing so well, and then bands like we played the show with Malevolent that night. And like, and they did great, but like, there was way more people to see All Shall Perish than them. Like, it was like, I'm sure that was hovering over him. So he's got like this hate already for it, and just wanted to say something. Wanted to shock him or say something terrible to him as well. I mean, Ben's like a sweetheart too. So to say it to him,
I know he's such a nice guy.
Yeah, there's not like an asshole in that band. Like really, I mean, like Eddie is sweet, and everyone was like really nice. Like, and I mean, Eddie would probably have fought him if he said to Eddie, but but anyone else, like, I mean, Ben is like just this like lovable. I don't know, like why you would even have to reach out to say something like that.
Yeah, I don't know, just being a shithead. Ben is sick, dude. Ben printed the first Warforged merch. And
nice, that's right.
Yeah, back in the day, he did all of our old shit. Like just the logo shirts, the Swamp shirts, our first album cover shirt or the EP cover shirts and shit. We used to
he's still doing it.
Yeah, I know. He does a great job. Yeah. Our first tour, we actually picked up, we re-upped on merch from him, and we went to the shop at the time in like, it wasn't in Weed, California. It was somewhere else. It was in some town.
Yeah, northern somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere up north. And grabbed it there and got a little mini tour of the shop with Carlos from he used to be in that band Antagony. I'm sure you know him.
Oh yeah, we've toured with them. I've toured with actually the tour we did, it was Animosity, Antagony, Decrepit Burris, and it was like a little mini run. And that was the tour that Animosity was like, dude, we're gonna do Prices Right. Do you guys want to go on Prices Right?
Oh, and we were hell
like, yeah. And we were like, no. We were like, yes. And then we like partied the night before, and they're like, well, it's like a 7-hour process if you want to get on. They have to interview you. You have to wait in line. All this shit's it's like a fucking long process. And then Animosity and fucking Carlos or Antagony went. I think it was just Carlos. Might have been Antagony too. But and fucking Carlos got called up on the show and fucking literally won like a mini trailer.
Yeah,
like on the show.
I remember that. Yeah.
That's so
Yeah,
sick.
I
You
was
can
like,
still find
holy-
that on YouTube. Like it's
Wow.
funny.
Yeah.
That's so fucking
Yep, it's
sick.
definitely on there. It's crazy.
I
I
just
know, it's like,
remember-
fuck.
man.
The singer from Animosity, Leo, had a shirt with a tiger on it, and he was just
Yep,
like
and he was
flipping
like-
it up and down.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
No, totally.
That's so fucking
Yeah, they all
sick.
wore tie-dye. They all wore blue tie-dye shirts to kind of stand out. I remember that. They were like all planning on that stuff, and they had them all ready for us too. But we were just like,
Yeah.
we were like in the hotel, and we're just like,
Nah.
we were stoners, dude, like heavy stoners at the time, and we're just like, let's just get high and go get a burrito, dude. I don't want to go wait and like, you know, like,
Yeah.
I want to see Bob Barker. I'm good.
Dude, that's so
Yeah.
funny. That's if
It's
I
a
saw the
great
Decrepit
video.
Birth on fucking The Price is
Dude,
Right,
that'd be awesome.
I would be like,
There's been,
crying.
I mean, there was Adam D from
Adam D, yeah.
Age got on there too. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
do
there's been
remember
a couple
that.
metal people.
It's a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is sick. It's still not as sick as the guys who made Polarity on there, but you know, we'll get what we could take. But yeah, dude. So you ended up joining from the get go. So you got to tell them the story about the show you went to at Doug's in Aurora,
which is not even a venue anymore,
yeah,
right?
it was the tour. It was the Faceless just when they dropped Planetary Duality. So it was that tour with them, Decrepit, Neuraxis, Abigail Williams, Vela Maya.
Yep.
Do you remember that one? I think you were on
Yep.
that, right?
Yeah, it was for sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I actually was not at the show because it was in
No,
Aurora.
I thought you would have been, but
It was in Aurora, and I lived in Oak Park at the time, and I was still in high. I was-
Aurora.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was in my girlfriend.
I remember that. It was like at a bowl. It was like a pool hall.
sort
right?
of. Yeah, yeah,
pool
sort
hall,
of.
like bar.
Yeah, pool hall, bar.
Something or
Okay.
other.
Yeah.
Like in like a strip
I remember
mall
that show.
type
Yep.
thing.
Yep, and then
Yep, I remember that.
you guys were there, and
Me and Tom,
I
yeah,
couldn't get a
went.
ride out there, so I could. I was like 16 at the time, so
Me,
I couldn't.
Tom, and
I didn't
somebody
have a
else.
license.
Maybe his
Yeah,
older
Eddie
brother.
Lynn Paris was there.
Oh, maybe it was Eddie then. Yeah.
But
That's
Bill,
sick.
dude, the shit Bill was saying on stage was so fucking
One of the
funny,
funniest
man.
lines I've ever heard in my
So
life that
fucking
I'll like
funny.
never forget,
Yeah.
just because like he was having some issues with his throat, like his voice was like all fucked and scratchy.
yeah.
Dude, it's like every time I would see them, he would always be like, "My voice is fucking
Well, the reason why his voice is fucked is because he would I don't want to say insist, but he would kind of insist on doing merchandise.
yeah."
And
I
so,
remember.
he's fucking Bill, the crazy looking guy from Decrepit Birth. Like people want to talk to him.
Oh,
People
yeah.
wanna,
I
like,
talked to him
talk
for
and
like
talk.
4
like
hours.
figure. Yeah. So he would literally scream in a mic all night, and then he'd fucking
And
have to
talk
talk
all
all night. And so his throat would be fucked. And like I've talked to a lot of singers too that are like, dude, you got to like not talk as much as possible after you do that, especially if you don't have like a good technique. I mean, there's a lot of singers coming out with like actual like gnarly good techniques for like longevity now, but like back then it was just like, just go for it. You know, like, yeah. What was the line that Bill said though?
So he's up there and about to get into like another song, and he's like, "Sorry about my throat being a pussy," but he's like, "That's not an invitation to any of you faggots out there." He's like, "I'm just kidding. I don't give a fuck what your shit is. This next song is and then these guys went right into it. I was like, this is the best,
Dude, that's so
I was like,
funny.
these guys rule.
He goes from being like, my throat sucks, so
So
I'm sorry
good.
if this sucks, but do not come up on stage and try to sing. But also I'm not homophobic. Let's go.
So good. I was like,
like
all right, he
awesome,
redeemed
dude.
himself in
Yeah.
one shot and then nailed it. I was
So
like, all right,
funny.
I'm
Well, it's
in.
fine, dude. There were so many bands saying worse shit
Oh,
than
at that
on
time?
stage at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Remember
yeah.
that band Monsters from here? There was this big
Vaguely.
deathcore band called Monsters that was from Chicago, and there was a show where they kept saying faggots like over and over again. They'd be like, "What's up, faggots? This song is," and it was at Reggie's. And I remember Shane at the show. I wasn't at the show, but a buddy of mine who's actually
Shane
been on
told you
our
about
show.
this?
No, Vince told me about this because Thieves played this show with them.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was just saying, he was like, yeah, the singer, like Frankie just kept saying, like,
What the
calling everybody a
fuck?
fag the whole night. And he was like, you could tell everybody was just getting pissed about it after a while. And then Shane was like, yeah, I'm never booking this band again.
Yeah.
It's just like so funny. So it's, like, it's not
fuck?
anywhere near that.
Nah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean? It's not like
I
that
said,
shit.
he apologized in
but
one
Bill,
sentence too.
Bill had like a little stint. It might have been even on that tour or the tours after where he would drink. He like wasn't smoking weed for a while, and he would start drinking a bunch, and he would keep it, whatever. Whatever. It's probably not like information I should just be spreading, but like he would like be at the merch table. I remember one time I was eating, like we got fed at a cafeteria at this place. So I'm sitting there eating at the cafeteria, and I'm eating my food, and I'm on Bill's like on my, I'm the side profile of the merch, but Bill doesn't know I'm just sitting there like eating. He doesn't see me. I'm eating and I see Bill like look around like this, and then he like goes to his merch container and pulls out like a fucking bottle of Jameson and just goes, good gunk, and starts like chugging it. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? We're having like, and yeah, there was definitely some. Then his shirt got stolen. So then like Bill's someone that really like cherishes his old shirts, like the shirts that he has, like he's had forever, and he brings them on tour and loses them, or people steal them, and like he gets so pissed about it. Like we've had to rip apart the van multiple times for like a fucking shirt, like. And just Bill like losing his fucking mind over a shirt and stuff. And we're just like, dude, Bill, calm the fuck down. And he's just like, I know, Joel. Like we're just getting like arguments and stuff over shirts and stuff. And it's just how tour goes. Like you start arguing about over everything.
I know. But, But you can't be bringing that shit on tour with you, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
Never, like all the shirts I bring on tour, it's like, I'm okay if this gets like a little fucked up, you know?
Yeah. And he was definitely on stage after that night. So he got shit stolen, the shirt stolen from that night.
Do you remember which shirt it was?
It was a Cannibal Corpse, like eaten back to life one or something like that, or Tomb of the Mutilated one, like an old one with like holes in it and shit.
Yeah.
And so like he just kept going, like on stage, he was just wasted, like blacked out wasted. Like the worst I've ever seen him like drunk. And like in between every song, he's all, this song doesn't go out to that fucking it's like and we're just going like in the middle of the set, we're like, because I mean he said he's dropped the F-bomb pretty hard a few times on stage. I'm just like, Bill, chill the fuck out, dude. Like even three like we're from Santa Cruz, dog. Like it's like there's a huge like gay population. Yeah. Wow, what are you doing, man? I mean,
well, like fucking
God.
Yeah, I get it. He's an older guy. Yeah, I know that generation, you know.
And it wasn't accepted. It wasn't accepted word in high school and stuff. It wasn't like never really homophobic. Yeah. It didn't mean homophobic things, but it just it is a derogatory term for it. So it's like, and things when things start being taken more literally and people start losing their careers over saying shit like that on stage, it's like. Yeah, it's like, all right, well, now that's you got to respect the word and just like be like, all right, let's back away slowly from it. It's like there's a bunch of little things like even Brent Hines is apologizing today for Mastodon for saying that Disturbed is like or fags or something. When did he say that? He said we got to do some like terrible tours. This is all. Like a Disturbed, like that gay ass band Disturbed, and that was just on every headline. Like, how long ago did they say? Like a week or two ago. Like they just dropped an album. They just apologized yesterday. They just apologized yesterday. Funny. Well, good. They were basically like that's the. I mean, because it's funny because I love like Brent Hines interviews are like my favorite interviews.
Oh, so like the fucking funniest. Wild, dude. I love his episodes. Old episodes on Jobsta's show are so good. Those podcasts are so nuts. Like to hear how fucked up he gets and just the shit that they say to each other and like. I don't know. Not the singer, but like he's the guitar player. They all sing now, but like I think they all sing except maybe one guitar player. He's the guitar player that sings though. Plays the V. Mostly. Yeah, I think. Yeah, but like he talks about kicking dudes. Actually, it's crazy now. What's it called? The sorry, we're on delay, so I don't mean to cut you guys off. Right. But what's it called? What's the Psycho Fest with Dan Kenny? It was me and Dan Kenny went to Psycho Fest together. Got a room and he just knows everyone, like we were hanging out with Corpse Grinder, hanging out with, and so we end up like sick. we're running around like with in Mandalay Bay, and all of a sudden this guy with a humongous beard and like this like crazy tattoos on his arm, and Brent Hines are running around together, and Dan knows both of them, so we just glom onto their group, and Brian from Cephalic, and which that's how I got in. Brian's all, what's up? Let's fucking hang out, and so we all kind of like just kind of this mob of people. And we go up to a room and start drinking and stuff like that and having partying and stuff. And then, so it turns out the dude with the beard is fucking V-Man. It's the bass player of Slipknot. And so we're hanging out with the bass player of Slipknot. And I'm just like, and he's this British guy and he's a shit talker. And I fucking loved him. He was actually, he's a fucking asshole, like a fun asshole. So we were just like, it just turned like the whole night just turned into me, like me and him talking till 5 a.m, just arguing about music the whole time and awesome. Talking about cool gear. And then he like took all of our phones. He's all, I need all your guys' phones. Takes all of his phones and puts it in the other room. And then he's just here's the new Slipknot, and just played it for us. And we're like, oh shit! He almost
he almost had us like sign NDAs over it. He was like freaking out. He was all like, all right, well, I'm going to put it on. He was so freaked out. I'm like, dude, it's fine. Like, we're not going to leak it. Like, it's not going to, yeah, it's like, I don't actually even care that much. But I mean, Slipknot's a big band I grew up with. And that last album had a song I liked or something. Like, it's also like, I like pretty much 90% of my night was just like, we'd be talking for a while and like arguing about stuff. And I would just slap him on the arm like, dude, you're in fucking Slipknot, dude. It's fucking insane. Like, like what the fuck? You're in Slipknot.
Crazy, dude.
I'm like, you're playing arenas.
Yeah,
you're playing fucking 20 to 30,000 people a night, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even understand that level that you're on right now. So basically, Brett Hines basically knew the Slipknot camp and was like, hey, we have a guy that could fill in because when Paul died from Slipknot, he's like, we have a guy that could fill in and do it and really wants to do it. And he tried out and just got it and he was in. So it was like, wow. I'm just like, before you know it, you went from just being a little fan to like a technician to like playing like you're like the headliner over everyone. It's fucking crazy.
We've talked about that on our show with their drummer Jay Weinberg. Like there's a picture on the internet of him.
Pictures and videos of him as a little kid.
Yeah, with his dad Max Weinberg, who plays with the East Street Band.
Conan O'Brien.
Yeah, Conan O'Brien for years. Yeah. Oh, I missed that so much. He was so good with Conan. But they bring like he's at a Slipknot show and the kid is dressed like Jay is dressed up as like one of the dudes and like now he's in that band. It's just insane.
How awesome
it's
is
like
that?
it's crazy. Yeah. So that's so sick that like those guys are getting the chance to do it. And Slipknot, like, there are a couple songs on that last album I think are sick, like where it's like this is pretty sick, like I still respect them. I have not heard the new song yet, though. I do want to listen.
I haven't checked it out.
I haven't either. Actually, I did. I did in that hotel room, but
okay.
I was so fucking wasted, and
you probably barely remember it.
Partying so hard.
Okay. Oh,
yeah, yeah. I just remember being like,
this is very recent when this happened.
It says August 20th, August 21st. It was that weekend of
so they have a new
Psychofest.
They have a new album done.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and actually, V-Man actually was saying that he actually helped write a lot of it too. So he was showing me all the stuff that he helped write, and he was pointing out stuff. He was just like, it's one of those things, I've had so many bands just be like put on their album in front of me and just like kind of like stare at you. That's what he was doing like that. Like he put it on and he was just like, it was like me and like Cephalic, and there's like Nick from Cephalic, Brian from Cephalic.
Yeah.
I think Brent had taken off already, but like, and some like couple girls and stuff like that. But we're like sitting there and like, and V-Man's just staring at me, like he's on the couch just staring at me, like watching my reaction.
Yeah.
I'm just like, cool, man, cool. Like I don't know what to say. I was like,
like on the spot. Yeah.
There maybe fucking Slipknot was doing that to me, I would be doing the same thing. Like this is so. Well,
one thing that he liked about me that I've kind of picked up on is that we're not like keeping in touch after this, but like
sure,
I would tell him, I'd be like, that part's a little weird. I don't really like that part.
Oh, wow.
Being honest with him, that's awesome.
Yeah. So he appreciated, he respected the honest criticism.
Yeah, because he's a fucking dude. That guy is fucking hilarious. That guy hates everything, dude. The guy the things he loves are like me and him like love Symphony X. So we talked about Symphony X forever, and we love random prog bands and random like stuff that we like got into talking about. But like he would just be like, he'd talk about like a really good band. He'd be like, that band fucking sucks, dude. It was like, I forget. I don't even remember. But he had like,
sucks.
Yeah. I remember like all the Cephalic guys were just like, Jesus. And I was like, just cracking up. I was like, the guy is fucking hilarious, man. I mean, there's some seriousness to him and his like hate for things. Cause he's kind of a sweetheart too. It's a weird mix. It's a weird mix of like, I've never met a human like him. I was like,
that's so funny.
It was kind of like, but it was really cool just to get like in his mind and fucking, we literally like stumbled out of that fucking hotel room at like 8 a.m. We stumbled out of that hotel room and we got there like at fucking 1 and we were just fucking, we went to 3 other hotel rooms too. It was just like, all right, what's this hotel room all about? Like we were like just following this mob of people and I'm like, well, they're like rock stars. So they can do whatever they want, I guess, like
partying. Yeah, that's wild, man. Yeah. Jesus Christ. That's sick. That's so much fun. So was Cephalic? Yeah, was Cephalic playing out there?
That's actually probably 45% of the reason why I even went was
because they're playing.
Cephalic, they haven't played in so long, and I was like, I think actually
see them.
To be honest with you, I think the last shows they played were with us and fucking Summer Slaughter.
Yeah.
So I was like, that was like 2010 or 11. So it's like. It's been like 10 years. So I was like, well, Cephalic's playing, like I gotta go. Like that's one of my favorite bands. So I'm like, and they're my buddies, like they're like, texting me going like, we're going to be there. We're meeting up at this time, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is awesome. Like, and I'm there with Dan, who knows everyone too. Like Dan knows like way more people than me, but like, I knew Cephalic and like some of the other like death metal bands there and stuff. But, and Poison the Well played Opposite of December all the way through.
Oh, hell yeah.
And so that's like, actually was the highlight of my weekend. That was, yeah, I was like, fucking, it's on the podcast. We've talked about it before because I get a lot of shit from it. Cause, I'm really honest about like, I'm not embarrassed by anything, but like I was sitting there just like with my Pat, Dan Kenny's little brother. So me and Pat and Dan are kind of like a little family of people. Like we hang out all the time and stuff like that. So, I'm there with Pat and he kind of grew up in the hardcore. He's more into hardcore and punk and stuff than he is metal, but he still likes, Deftones is his favorite band, but he likes the punk stuff and the metal stuff, metalcore stuff and deathcore stuff. But yeah, he was like, I was just like fucking, I started crying watching Poison the Well because it was like, to be a little side note, my first band ever was this band Taste of Blood, which actually had the singer of Faceless, Derek, and it was me in it, and yeah, it was like it was just our high school band to play a battle of the bands, and it was like this little thing, and we would cover like 2 Opposite of December songs as part of our set for Battle of the Bands. Very cool. And we ended up winning, and like we were like super and fucking stoked on it. Bought a keg and a bunch of weed and stuff like that. And like, and basically, so that's basically where I was listening to that shit because I was like Slayer mode, some Slipknot. I was like going through all that shit, but then like the Poison the Well shit was like was this new style of music, and there was no. I don't know if breakdowns were even called breakdowns. It was just a heavy part back then. It was like, it was just like, it was a new style of music with those breakdowns. Like, and I was like, that's fucking heavy, but like, it has like kind of like emotion to it too. So I was oh fuck, this is like kind of tickling multiple things for me. And then it became like a huge scene, and they kind of washed out and didn't really get the respect. I don't think they got the respect they deserve because I think they started a lot of that shit, like they were like the forefathers of that hardcore metalcore thing. But yeah, no, I started just fucking bawling at that show. I was like, but I had like a smile on my, I wasn't like sad. I was like with a smile on my face going like, this is so sick. And I was like sitting there. That's and like awesome, Joseph and Joseph was there from the podcast, but he just saw me. That was the first time he saw me the whole weekend. So he sees me standing there. He's like, what's up? Yeah, he's like, what's up? Told him to like just have tears coming down. Oh, what's up, dude? Oh, what's up? What's up, dude? And like I kept seeing I knew where he was in my peripheral. He was down below in House of Blues in Vegas. Yeah. He was down below, but I was right above him. And I kept seeing him do this, like look over. Yeah. And every time he'd look over, I'd just be like,
yeah. Did he know?
He caught me like 10 times. Yeah, he caught me. Awesome. I think he almost like filmed me. I don't know.
That's so.
But it was so much. It was just so much nostalgia that I was like, fuck, dude. I used to fucking love this shit. Like that just immediately like won the weekend for me, and I was like, I don't even care about any other band anymore. Like I don't even fucking care. And I really recommend going to Psycho Fest if you can go. I
have a few friends that do the
Gobo's Jam.
Vegas. Yeah, he goes
every year.
A buddy of mine, Jeff, plays in this band called Glory Hole Guillotine. He goes every year.
That's a great name.
And
that's a great name.
He's in a Blind Equation band too now. And
what is it?
Blind Equation. They're like this MySpace grind band, and like Anthony Fantano just reviewed them and shit like that. Yeah, and he loves it, and like they're definitely gaining some steam. So shout out that Blind Equation. Yeah, it's some cool shit.
Shout out.
Yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so shit, man. So I've seen you with Decrepit Birth. The first time I saw you guys was on the tour with Vader and like Swashbuckle and shit. Yeah, it was a very interesting tour. Augury was on that tour, which was so sick. They were awesome, dude. Like being able to see you guys and them and Vader was just like holy fucking shit. And Vogue was playing with Vader on that tour, I believe. So it was a sick. It's Vogue from Decapitated, the guitar player. He was. It was when they were like after Vitek had passed away, Decapitated hadn't quite like started back up again. I don't think, but yeah, dude, and it was
Vogue's my boy.
Yeah, dude, it was at this fucking weird ass venue in Addison called like Pyramid Club, and it was a sports bar. That was a pool hall. It was like the front to the right had the stage.
What city?
It was Addison, Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah, the venue was right off of Lake Street.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, dude. I know it was the only death metal show that I know of ever happened there. But there were people that were at that show. Like Chris Montez was at that show. He remembers it. And like I think Morrow was at that show.
Oh no shit.
But yeah, it was just wild. And I was in high school. And that was like, because I had missed Decrepit Birth a bunch of times because it was either your guys' van would break down and you would miss Chicago shows, or I couldn't get out to the shows for some said reason. It just sucked. I was so bummed. And like Decrepit Birth was like, that was like the sacred death metal band for me in high school for sure. It was like, this band is everything I wanted. They were like, because I had gotten into Decrepit Birth when Diminishing Between Worlds had came out, so it was a lot more of the melodic shit, and I was like, whoa, this is like really forward thinking. And at the time, like I didn't really my ears were too young to understand like Anti Begins. It just sounded so gnarly to me. Like now I love that album. Back then it just didn't really click with me, but all the melodies and, the more like direction on that second record, I was like, fuck, I love this so much. And like, Bill's lyrics were all about like the spiritual realm and things of that nature. And like, it wasn't about like just getting killed and shit like that. So I was like, damn, this is sick. It's like, something a little more inspiring. And I was just like all cylinders firing for Decrepit Birth. I was like a champion of that band, dude. And
fuck yeah.
What I loved too was the big band around our high school was Veil of Maya, because Mark and Sam, the guitar player and drummer, were graduates from our high school, and they're older than me, and
older than you, younger than me, I think.
Yes, sir, your age. They might.
I think Mark is like my age.
Yeah,
Sam might be a year younger.
I think Mark's like a year or two younger than me, so I'm 37 now. I think they're probably in their mid to, or they might be like 33, 34 or something like that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because I'm 37.
You are.
And I know people that like graduate with Mark and Sam.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they might be like 35, 36. Though.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it. 29. So for another month.
Damn.
And then I'll be I'll be 30 in December.
Welcome.
But,
I know. You got mail.
Yeah. I used to go to all the Veil of Maya shows because they would play Chicago all the time. And like when Common Man's Collapse came out, it was like the big boom around here. It was like everybody was like, fuck, this record is sick. Everybody's got to hear it. And it was sick. And I remember I saw them once at a VFW hall with After the Burial, and their drummer was wearing a fucking Diminishing Between Worlds shirt. And I was like, oh my God, that's so fucking sick. Like, and I was like, I would talk to them after the show. I'd be like, yo, your shirt is fucking so sick, dude. He's like, yeah, I love these guys. They smoke a lot of weed. And like, Mark and Sam would just tell me about how much weed that they would smoke with all of you guys. And I just thought
we were because at first we were like, oh fuck, this like hardcore band, or we're kind of like shitty about it. When we first started, and then when we started watching them and being like, holy fuck, they're fucking sick as fuck, like really talented. And so we ended up being, we probably done, I mean, with when I was in the band, probably done 4 tours with them, and we were always just like, okay, Veil of Maya, Decrepit pull up, we're in each other's vans, like always smoking weed, like we were very close. Like that was probably the band that we connected with the most. And and anytime they come into town, Sam will just like message me like, hey, do you have any weed? Or, well, nowadays I'm just like, go to the fucking store, dude.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing? That's so funny, man. Yeah, that's killer, dude. That's so, and I thought that's what I loved so much about that was, for me at the time, I was a big fan of bands like Veil of Maya, but I also loved bands like Decrepit Birth, and it was so cool to see that symbiotic relationship of like, these guys are fucking homies. They don't fucking like hate each other. You know what I mean? There's not some genre bullshit, and it's just like, it was so sick just seeing that like in harmony, and it was like, fuck, I still wish more of the world was like that. And it kind of is. Like,
it happens every once in a while.
I think deathcore really bridged that gap in a lot of ways, where it's like now you just see a lot of tours where it's like, like a Shadow of Intent tour, but Inferi is on it, but Brand of Sacrifice is on it, but then like another death metal band is on it. So it's like a balancing thing, I guess.
Well, it's also smart. Like, it's smart marketing. Like, that's, I mean, you think marketing. About like a lot of like these bands that are doing that kind of style of music, like the more deathcore stuff, they came from like a more of a metalcore death metal background. So they like, they like the death metal. They're like, they respect the death metal and they like it a lot. So it's like, they basically like, so they would have like bands like, which we can't pull what they can pull though. So it'd be like a thing where they would get some of the death metal kids out to watch some of their shit, and then we'd get like 9 million hardcore kids to watch our shit.
Yeah.
But like it would be like like with Whitechapel, same thing with Whitechapel. Like first show, I'm like, oh my god, what tour are we on? What the fuck is going on? Like, I was super just closed minded to it, and then after show number 3, I'm like, I fucking like this band like a lot, and then like. By the end of the tour, like I literally I had their CD, and because I always listen to music when I'm showering. It's like a thing I do. I just always have. So I had a boombox in my bathroom, and fucking was it This Is Exile? No, the one after that.
A New Era of Corruption.
A New Era of Corruption had just come out. I guess on tour with us, and that was just on repeat like every fucking time I was like taking a shower for like 6 months. So I was like obsessed with it. Like I loved it.
Was
like,
that tour with Suffocation and shit?
Psychroptic, Suffocation, Veil Maya, and Whitechapel. Yep. I think that was it. So Psychroptic was opening. Yeah,
that rolled through the Pearl Room in Mokina, Illinois. Didn't come to Chicago, and it was part of Gotham City Metal Fest, and it was on Easter Sunday. That's when you guys were playing. Was Easter Sunday, so I couldn't go because we had to go see my family, and I was so fucking pissed because the Lord was more important that day. I was so.
I have a funny story about that show. So I remember that show specifically because that was like a little fest that we were playing, and it was like completely dry. Everything was chill. They're like, hey, put your gear into this deck. I was like, in the very back, there's a big deck back there.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like a fucking one of the craziest storms I've ever seen as far as rain's concerned. Like one of the craziest storms hit there. It was like literally like 3 inches in like an hour came down.
Yeah,
and like
that happens out there.
The fucking monsoons. Yeah.
And literally, I remember like I go back there. I'm like, oh shit! Like someone said it's raining. I'm like, well, let's go check on the gear, dude. And then I get out there and it's like just a pure stream of water coming down from the sky.
Oh my God.
And I go look at the fucking our gear, and there's just a fucking like through the deck, the cracks in the deck, or maybe off the side of the deck or something. There's just a waterfall going on Matt's $5,000 head. Just like a waterfall like, hitting it directly, just going like shh. Yeah. And then we're like, oh fuck. So we grab it, like me and Terrence and stuff, and like we're all grabbing all the shit, like trying to like run it inside. And I remember like opening that it was in a case. We opened the case and we just opened it. Just went like shh, like a bunch of water came out of it. And we're just like, fucked. Oh fuck, it was fucked. But we ended up going to like Michigan a couple days later. What we did is we just put a bunch of fans on it. So we got the venue to hook up a bunch of fans and just like be blowing on it because we were like, all right, well, we're definitely not using that for like a week. Like it needs to dry out. Like you know what I mean. So like. He usually will be fine. Like, a lot of electronics, like if you get it wet, just don't turn it on until everything's dry.
Yeah.
So basically we did that. And then, I think he tried to turn it on a few days later at, cause John from Black Dahlia, the old Black Dahlia guitar player, that's like our stop. We always stop at his house cause he's got like he's always got the new amp. Like he was the first one to show us the Axe Effects in like 2008 or something or 9. He was like, check this new thing out. He's all, and then like you go over there the next time, it's all of it's gone. Now he's got like a Soldano, he's got like, and then you come back later, he's got like a fucking a Riviera. He's got like all the boutique amps is what he collects. So like, he would always be like showing us the new stuff, and we're like, dude, we're scared to turn this on. He's all, how long has it been? It's about like a week or something, and like he flips it on, it's working fine, and then just goes. Pop, and just like turns off. And so we figured it was just a fuse. So we changed the fuse, fixed it. And then we ended up playing this show in actually I tell this story. This is like one of my favorite stories. Yeah. We were playing a show. Summer Slaughter had gone through Spokane, Washington, and it was meeting up. It was Necrophagist. So it's Necrophagist.
It was 2009,
Behemoth,
right?
Yeah. Behemoth was just randomly jumped onto 4 shows or something.
Yeah. Shit. Wow.
And so it was Behemoth headlining, and it was at a knitting factory in Spokane, Washington. And
I've been there before. I got in a real big argument with the guys in Soil into that show.
You did?
Really?
Yeah, because their crew sucked over there, the house crew, and they totally fucked us.
Right, that's right.
Because we had worked it out with all their remains crew.
So you were arguing with the venue?
Yeah. Because like
arguing with the band
they wanted our shit out and all their remains. Because it was like in the middle of winter, so it was like shitty out, and we asked them like, can we just like not do that right now? Can we just put it to the side? And all remains was like, yeah, man, it's fine with us. But then the people at the knitting factory were like, where the fuck is all the Soil crew? Like, get their shit out of here. And so they yelled at the guys, and then the guys were pissed at us. And I was like, yo, this was like worked out. Like, I swear to God. And they're like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Are you fucking off? I'm like, you know me. Like, I don't fuck off. Like, what the hell are we talking about here? It was like a whole thing. It was so crazy. but I do know that place.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's kind of like, I mean, it was definitely a different situation. It was where like, it's a sold out show. I mean, Behemoth is playing too. So like, it's sold out,
wild.
fucking tons of fucking people there. Like,
that's awesome.
And so we're playing, and all of a sudden, like, I just see in the peripheral, I just see like a flash in the corner. And then I'm like, what the fuck? And then I look over and fucking Matt's just going like, his amp blew up. And it's like this expensive fucking Ingle special edition, like fucking $4,000 amp blew up. And even John was like, don't fucking bring this thing on tour, dude. This is not a touring. This is I mean, he was endorsed by Ingle, so he got it for like $2,000, but still like, it's a $5,000 amp. Like, don't bring it on tour. It's like expensive. And, so we see this flash and we're just like, and all of a sudden I see that like Matt has no sound anymore. And so I run over to him and just cover him up. I start playing bass and where he was standing while he's trying to fix it. And the song ends and I'm just like, what's up, Matt? What's going on? He's all, dude, my head just blew up. I have to like go find you an amp right now. So we go on the backstage. Everyone's gone. It's like, it's just a hallway of nothingness. And we're on stage right now for a sold out show. So, and then we're like, where the fuck is everyone? And then we run out. We're in the street. We run out in the streets and we're trying to find band members somewhere. They're just like, let us borrow an amp. Like we just need to borrow an amp right now. And like literally we're running around. I remember just running in the middle of the street in fucking Spokane and just being like, like I was like thinking to myself, like I'm in the middle of the street right now and we're on stage in front of a sold out like my band's on stage standing there like waiting for us to fucking go up there. And I go back out and Paul from Origin saved the day. He brought us fucking like rack mount shit and like plugged it in. And but the thing is, like when we come back out there, Bill's just like, he's all knock knock. He's all, like telling jokes and shit.
Hell yeah!
I was like, oh my god, dude, it was so funny. I was like, I mean, there's a part of me that whenever like shit like that happens, like I just have to laugh. I think it's fucking hilarious. Like there's nothing you can do about it. Like there's no. You want to be mad about it? That just makes everything worse. Like you have to just think to yourself, like, this is fucking hilarious. This is happening right now, dude. I'm in the middle of the street, running down the street right now. My whole band on stage. Like I'm just looking like a psycho.
Trying to find an amp.
That's pretty funny, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild,
totally.
Dude.
So that was my Spokane. That was my Spokane's fucking, and that was probably because it got wet that one time.
I'm sure.
And,
right.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's so wild.
Yeah.
What did he end up doing for the rest of the tour? Just borrowing an amp, or?
So Necrophagist that night was like, because Muhammad was kind of on his whatever. He was like on his like apology tour a little bit.
Apology
where
tour.
I just want to say apology tour just because like he was already known as being an asshole.
Oh.
And so the first tour he did, he was known as being like this dickhead. So I think word got back to him is like everyone thinks you're a dick or you're a jerk or something like that. And so he was being the nicest fucking guy to us. He was like, I mean, that's what the only reason why I say apology tour is because guy from Suffocation. Wait, I'm just throwing people on the bus. I'm fun care. Guy from Suffocation was all, dude. He's just being nice because he has to be now. Like he's got to be nice. Like his fucking reputation's catching up with him. And he's got to be nice. And so like that's what I had in my head the whole time, you know, because he was like being a sweetheart to me, like all the time, like being like the coolest guy to us the whole time. And I was like, this is amazing. Like Necrophage is like one of my favorite bands. Like this is fucking so cool. Muhammad's so cool. I don't know what people are talking about. He's like a sweetheart. What the fuck's going on? And my buddy was teching for them. He's not a sweetheart, dude. Like he was like, that guy is like fucking, he's like, basically like, he's got Napoleon complex where he's like the shortest guy on the thing. And he's like, had his girlfriend on tour and he would just like shame people like publicly and make them look all shitty on the bus and stuff and like, like tear him down and stuff to make himself look, you know, like in power. And we had Hannes on our podcast and see, this is a shit you're not supposed to talk about, whatever. I just definitely. But so I mean, Hannes was on and I was like trying to pull it out of him, like, so how was blah, blah. And then like I got him to basically talk. Basically express his feelings like he's a very hard person to work with. I mean, Hannes is a fucking sweetheart, like one of the nicest human beings in all of death metal. So I was like, I would just, you know, it was an early morning one too. It was one of those podcasts because he's in Germany. So we had to do it like at fucking 10 in the morning on Saturday. And I'm like all hungover, just like woke up from a party or something like that. And I'm just like when I get in these like hungover kind of wacky states, I just don't fucking care. And I'll just be like, I know this is not the question to ask and I don't fucking care, but like working with Muhammad, I heard, you know, his reputation, stuff like that, blah, blah. And he's just all like, like he got like nervous, and then like he kind of like gave me like an analogy or something about like how he's all, you've like you don't really care about if the person's like cool or not. He's all like, you listen to the music first. He's talking about like German composer. He's like, yeah, the guy was anti-Semitic, but his music was fucking awesome, like
oh shit.
He was saying shit like that.
Yeah.
So like, and I kind of didn't agree with him. I didn't say I didn't agree with him because I was like already asked him the shitty question and put him on the spot. So I felt bad already. But he was making a point of like, whether you like a person as a person, is all the music comes first, and then you could worry about the person as a person. And I was like, yeah, well, I mean, if there was like, if Cannibal Corpse came out and was just like, yeah, we're Nazis, then we'd be like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I could like, I don't know if you could like, just like be like, yeah, well, the music's good, I'm going to keep listening to the music. Like, it would be like, for me nowadays, I don't know. I think it's just the 2021 and 2020 kind of like, just everyone's getting canceled and stuff like that. You're kind of worried about like, I don't know, just having that like in your fucking playlist if you're a band you like is a racist, gnarly band, you know what I mean? Yeah. And the only bands that have really gotten away with that shit's like the NSBM, like black metal. Like, there's a lot of bands that are kind of popular that are fucking NSBM, like National Socialist Black Metal. They're like super, like they're. Yeah, and they just like somehow get away with it.
Yeah, I know. It's wild. It's
a really
there's
bizarre
a bunch of weird shit going
stuff,
out there. Yeah. Like I kind of understand Hannah saying that because I see Christian Wenzer. I'm friends with him on Facebook, and like sometimes he'll drop some shit that's like, like think for yourself. Like it doesn't matter if someone is like bad, but and I'm like, okay, maybe it's like an old guy Europe attitude. Like I don't like, I'm not gonna fault him on that. But like I was at a good example. Totally. I was at recently that last Deicide tour. They had Cataclysm as direct support, and the singer from Cataclysm was going on these like rants in between their songs where he was like, "We can't be afraid to leave our homes. Like we can't have people keep us inside." And I'm just like, okay, man, I don't know what you're talking about. And then Glenn Benton gets on stage and he was just like, "I don't watch the news. I just watch cartoons. And if anybody tells me anything, I just tell them to fuck off." And I'm like, all right, old Florida man.
Hell yeah, brother. You get it. You're like, all right.
It's just like, we get it. You're just here to have fun.
Yeah,
like,
no,
that's all he's there for.
I'm getting so tired of all the people with their soapboxes and fucking.
It's hard, man.
Using social media has fucked up so many things. Like, I mean, it's like, I'm not a very political person at all. Like, I'm actually. I find things on both sides I agree with, and I find things on both sides I disagree with, and I don't consider myself on one side. And so, like, the people that I actually do this to people, when people start talking like they're so fucking certain about everything and that their way is the way that we need to do things, even if I fucking agree with what they're saying, I will fucking disagree with them and just argue with them and give them the devil's advocate point. Cause I'm just like, dude, stop like saying that what's best for everyone and that you're the final guy that has these opinions that like we all need to hear this now. I'm like, just shut the fuck up. Like how about like let's talk about fun stuff. Like the politics have like divided everyone. That's made everyone like literally like parents. Like we got Thanksgiving coming up. Like there's been so many Thanksgiving dinners in the last 5 years with like with like a Trump person or a person that's for Biden. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like it just becomes this like all of a sudden like you're unfriending family on fucking Facebook over like what they voted for because they might see something in Trump that their policies that they like, but then on the left, they're like, well, he's a racist piece of shit. And like, and like, so like, you know what I mean? So it just turns into like there's not like any, actually Tim Young, if you listen to that podcast, he goes into it a little bit where like, I got some crazy beliefs. Like I'm a kind of crazy right wing guy. He's all, but I'm not going to fucking tell you about it. Like he's all, that's my fucking beliefs. Like, why the fuck would I tell you about it? Like he's all, one thing that's missing is that everyone thinks they have to let everyone know about their fucking views and feelings. And one thing that the point that he made that I've been making for a long time is that you're not going to change their fucking minds. Like, like people arguing with them through the comments. Yeah. Like you'll change my mind because I'm open to change. I'm open to like someone like, oh, okay, well, there's facts there. Okay. Let me look into that. Oh shit, you're right. You can get me to change my mind. You can do that. I don't fucking care. I'm not stuck in my ways to be like, this is the way it is. It has to be like this. I have to be right. I can't be wrong. I'll be like, if I'm wrong, I'm fucking wrong. Like it's just like a scientific, like a logical way of looking.
Of course.
It's been lost, with like I've had, there's blocked me. Old drummers of Suffocation that have, like people like that are just posting fucking
shit.
Alex Jones things, and they're just cussing out. They like would put paragraphs cussing
old drummers
out.
of Suffocation.
No. There's one of a. No, whatever. It was Mike Smith, whatever. Actually, I'm friends with Mike Smith. I was friends with him, and we hung out a lot on tour, but then he got on Facebook and just started posting all this crazy shit. And
I heard a bunch of crazy shit about that dude, period. Like,
oh, yeah. No, he's out there. I mean, Faceless shared a bus with him for a while. And we were in Vegas once, and Faceless was all packing their bags, and they're like, fuck this guy. We cannot be on a bus one more day with this guy.
Oh, wow.
And they were dropping off the tour. They were like, we're not doing the tour anymore.
What
we're not
tour
doing
was it? Was it the one with the eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that
Danny
tour.
was on?
Yeah, that was at Clearwater Theater.
Danny shit on their bus.
Wasn't there a storm at that show too? I feel like Through the Eyes told me about their shit getting fucked over by a storm on that tour.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe it was that then. Maybe it was that tour. Maybe I'm mixing it up.
It might have been that tour because it was another Suffocation tour, and I remember.
Buffalo was there for sure.
Yeah,
that could have been it.
Yeah, well, Suffolk was headlining. I was there. That was the tour with Flesh God. It was like their first tour in the U.S.
Sick.
Yeah.
So they were
Flesh
still.
God. Yeah.
They were
That was
still
sick.
playing that really gnarly shit, which I love by them. So it was.
Is that
really
band
cool to
still a
see
band?
that. Yeah.
they're
They
still
put out a
going.
record a couple years ago.
Really?
Oh, what's his name got hurt in a climbing accident. Fuck.
The
I keep
singer,
mixing up their
guitar
goddamn
player.
names.
The
He
guitar
was the
player?
drummer.
Francesco Paoli or whatever or something.
Yeah.
He used to.
Yeah,
He was the singer in Hour of Penance,
and then
then he was the drummer in Flesh God, or then he was the singer and drummer in Flesh God, then just the drummer, and now he's a singer again
Okay.
and guitar player, I think.
And he
Right.
hurt
he
himself
was
climbing.
So when we toured
Yeah.
with so he like fell and like he's like he was in the hospital for like 2 months and he just got released, and he's like he's finally starting to get working again. I love that guy. That guy I mean, seeing him, because he was the drummer on that tour. He was the drummer of Flesh God, and he writes all the songs, by the way, too. He's the composer too. He writes all the shit. He's
That's
like
nuts.
and he wrote all the shit for, I think, Hour of Penance too. He wrote all the stuff. Like he's just like a mastermind. And he basically couldn't find a drummer to play the shit, so he's like, I'll learn drums. And he started playing drums.
Yeah.
And he started within 2 years or a year and a half, he was playing drums in Flesh God.
Yeah.
And so like we were I know we were like every tour every show we did with them, because we did like 40 shows with them. Like every show, he would set up his kit and just work on his rudiments. He'd just sit there and be like, fuck. Like, he's like trying to learn. Like he knows, he's a very driven dude. He's like, I just got to fucking learn this to play it. Cause I want to like, I wrote the guitars, but I got to learn drums now to play it. Fucking crazy,
so
man. You're insane.
Yeah, that's nuts. We'll
And then I saw them later with the Black Dahlia Murder, and he's the singer with the guitar.
Yeah.
And he's just fucking amazing. Like a front man. I was like, they put on such a good show. I went in the backstage after, and I was like, what the fuck? You're like one of the best frontmen I've ever seen. Like he was like commanding the crowd, and they had like classical music in between, and was like, and got the crowd all riled up, and was like, just like being a sick frontman. I was like, holy shit, dude. You're like the whole deal, man. You know?
Man, they're like, in my mind at least, they're kind of like that new wave of Dimmu Borgir. You know what I mean? Like, they have this, maybe it's not as black metal as Dimmu, but still, like, it's kind of taking that reign.
Like
for
epic kind of symphonic.
Yeah, big epic symphonic death metal, black metal with some, but like, and they do a good job of it. Like, I can't knock them at it.
I do enjoy that band.
I really liked, it was so weird. I had a very weird history with that band. I love their old shit. Then Agony came out and I didn't like it because I was like, this is like melodic and cheesy, and I was like, I don't like it anymore.
There's some good moments.
But then Labyrinth came out and I liked that, and then I went back and listened to Agony. I'm like, all right, I don't hate it, and then I like everything they've done since. I like that last album they did, Valena.
Yeah, I've never really, I don't really
checked
listen
it
to them too often.
I don't either anymore. But
I
every
don't
time
check
they put
them
out
out.
something,
I don't
I
actually
listen
like
to
throw them on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's rare that I do it these days.
Yeah.
But
It just it's one of those bands that just beats the shit out of me. You know what I mean? It's like like Origin's some of my like best friends and stuff. I love Origin. They're like fucking awesome dudes, and there's some of the most crazy music ever. But like after a while, it's like feels like like you listen to them, it feels like just a dude walks in the room and just beats you up, like just like kicks your ass. Like you're just like after like 3 songs, you're like Jesus, dude, like oh my god, like calm down. Like
I just heard
like,
every
give
note
me anxiety.
Dude, I can't believe the Faceless dropped off.
Played
that
at 300 beats per
Suffocation
minute.
tour, man.
Wait, what was that?
I can't believe the Faceless dropped off that Suffocation tour. Danny never told me about that. Or
Yeah, he
I
never
bet Danny
brought
doesn't
that
even.
up.
They didn't drop off.
Yeah.
They didn't. No, they didn't drop off. They so that was I was in the middle of all this because I'm friends with Suffocation and friends with Faceless.
Yeah.
And they had their bags off the bus. They were like, fuck this band, we're done. And then like all of them were coming up to me because they knew that like I was kind of bridging the gap between the two bands. Yeah. And I was like, they're all, dude, Mike just went nuts on us and blah, 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 and like started cussing us out and like threatening violence on someone. He threatened violence on someone or maybe got violent with someone. And they were just like, we're done. We can't deal with this. And so we fucking sat in a parking lot for like fucking 3 hours, hashing it out and then hugging it out. They jumped back on the bus and then we were back on tour.
Wow,
so like, it was a moment in time where I was like, no, you guys can't leave. Like, I mean, I love Terrence and Frank are some of my like people I like to hang out with on tour. And I love Derek from Faceless and Mike Keane I'm good friends with. So I like, those are people that I like to see. I don't want to see anyone drop off. Like you guys are like, you guys have already done like 15 shows. Like you can't just drop off now. They were like, well, we're in Vegas. It's like an 8-hour drive home. We don't give a fuck. We're done. And I was like, dude, let's calm down. Let's all pump the brakes a little bit. Like something got out of hand. Mike's maybe drunk or something, or like something got said or violence got, said or done. But, they ended up like getting over it and shaking hands and jumping back on the bus. And it was like a part of the tour that I thought the tour was like
done,
going to shambles. Yeah. I was
That's
like,
wild,
fuck,
man. Well, all that crazy shit happened. Danny was on True TV on that tour.
Dude,
that's what that shit fucking happened. Yeah. That's that show you guys played at like LA on Halloween and he almost got his arm.
Oh, no. I was right there when he almost got ran over.
He was on True TV. That was literally on. It used to be on YouTube. I think Danny still has the link to it, but it's on the internet where you could see it happening.
There's a video of it?
Yeah. Somebody was filming
Somebody filmed it at the time.
Yeah, because they were filming like out in LA just for Halloween in general, and somebody saw that happen.
Because there was like a commotion too.
Yeah, it's a bouncer, right? As a bouncer.
Yeah, some shit like that.
Was it? Yeah,
fucking.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it. Like I was smoking a cigarette, and I was outside. I was right there, but I saw this commotion go down, and then like
I'm pretty sure Danny was like very drunk.
Oh yeah.
He was for sure.
Yeah,
he was for sure. He gets drunk.
I know. I was with
the boy enjoys the sauce.
We were with a sauced up Danny last night, so. Yeah. Danny was so sauced. He was sauced by the time he got to the venue. He was just like, I'm already 4 fucking drinks in. Like he comes right up to me.
Right when I saw him the other night.
Tell me that he was very fucking drunk. Yeah, he was wasted last night.
I barely talked to him.
He was very drunk.
That's funny.
What show was it?
Surprised.
Our buddy, actually, our other bandmate in our band, Roman Ring, his name is Nate. He plays in another death metal band from here called Immortal Bird. They're actually really fucking sick.
Yeah, they
did their album with Dave Otero and shit. And they played, they played last night with this band, this black metal band, not from here. I don't know where they're from, but they're called Yellow Eyes. Yeah. And they played this venue called the Empty Bottle in Chicago. And it was just a good time. We went and saw like all of our homies there. And
had a lot of friends out, so it was cool.
Kicked it, smoked a lot of weed, and I bounced after Immortal Bird because I'm now that guy where I'm just like, I'm ready to go home. And like
I did the same thing last night. Last night it was Skeletal Remains, Wolf King, and this band Teeth.
That band Teeth is sick. That band Wolf King,
was sick.
All those bands are sick.
Yeah. So basically, like, I just started getting tired, and I was like, I was drinking too. I was like, well, the thing is, this venue doesn't have alcohol because like it's not a brand new venue, but it's a Vets Hall. It's basically like where all the shows went down when I was a kid. It closed down for 15 years and reopened. Damn. So like it just reopened. It's like the 4th show there back, So they're still working on permits to get alcohol and stuff like that. I got Chase from Animosity and Naveen to roll out, and it was me and Joseph from the podcast and the 1,000 bands that he's in, and fucking and some other friends. Let's fucking go support the scene. Like let's go. Like Joel Haston, which we've had on the podcast, was the promoter or the booking or the promoter, and he was like, trying to get everyone in. I'm like, no, we're fucking paying, dude. Fuck you. Like we need to fucking like pay. Like there's not enough people here. This is pissing me out. I was already like pretty bummed, and because I wanted a good turnout, even though like to be honest with you, like Skeletal Remains I've only heard about them from Joseph. Like I never even, and they were headlining, and I was like, holy shit, this is like a band that seems like a band. The logo, I looked at it, I'm like, I feel like I should know this band. Like and they had just a ton of merch, like beanies, hats, like fucking I don't know, mugs, like 1,000 shirt designs and
of old school death metal type shit. Like
I listened to them right before the show. It sounded like Morbid Angel to me. It sounded like old Morbid Angel. Was what it basically kind of got at. But I same thing. So Wolf King played and so I wanted to watch a little Wolf King because I remember seeing them live a couple times and being like, yeah, they're fun live. watched them, and then like chases us all like, let's go get beers, dude. And so we just went to a bar, and I just ended up at a bar last night and was just like, okay, Skeletal's done. I'm like, well, I guess I missed them. Fuck. Like, you know what I mean?
Dude, I think Dan Swano produced that new Skeletal Remains from Edge of Sanity. I think he did a new record, which is fucking crazy. A band like that young, got to do their record with him. That's fucking awesome. I want to listen to it. I should listen to it, but
yeah, totally.
Yeah, Wolf King is really cool. I saw them. I don't remember if we played with them or not, but I saw them in Chicago on the last Rivers headliner tour when they were doing Owls. When Owls Know My Name, Wolf King and
I saw that too. That's the last first time I saw them. Yep.
Yeah. So I was
Odious.
I can't remember if we opened that show in Chicago or if I was just partying there.
What was the lineup?
It was Entheos, Wolf King, Rivers of Nile. I think I was.
Was it Necrogoblicon or something?
No, they were not on that tour.
Oh, that's another show. That's another Entheos show I saw. Okay.
Yeah. No, it was that band Conjurer from like the UK.
Oh, okay.
They were on that tour, I think.
I saw it at Sacramento.
We did not play that show.
No, you didn't play it.
We went.
You were at
I
it.
was there, but didn't play it. But
yeah,
shit is wild. I remember I saw, because you were talking about Hannes earlier. The only time I've met Hannes was when you were there. We opened for
that memory popped up on my Facebook.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah,
it was like my favorite video ever.
How many years ago? 6
years ago.
Yeah, it was. Hate Eternal was doing a tour for Infernus, and they had Hannes filling in at that point. And it was like them, Rivers of Nile, and Beyond Creation, and I forget who else. Misery Index. It was a sick tour, and my band Warforged, we got to open it.
It was a goddamn drumathon.
Yeah, it was nuts. Yeah, I didn't stand a chance at that.
I bet.
It was just like, okay, but like we got to open it. It was a lot of fun, and we're like really tight with the Rivers guys, so it was good to hang with them. And I remember talking to Hannes, and he was talking about how Spawn of Possession just like isn't really doing anything anymore at the time. I mean, obviously they're not now, but like. He was just like, yeah, they're such good songwriters. I'm like, yeah, that's nuts. You can just like talk about it like that. Like this band that's so enigmatic to me and great. And like, it's just like, oh, he's just like, yep, there's this guy that's just like lived through it. Right. It's just like, okay. He was very humble about it though. But he was nice, super nice guy, like super sweet dude.
I'm stoked like that because I basically hit up Dennis from Spawn and got him on the podcast and stuff. And
yeah, I know. I love that episode.
Yeah, he it's what's really cool about it. It's like we keep in we text, we're like we talk like all the time now. He's like messaging us all the time. He's like one of our friends now. And I think that podcast actually, I have nothing official or anything to say, but that podcast kind of like re-sparked his musical brain a little bit. And so
good.
He wants to start playing music again. I don't know what he's gonna do, but I've been talking to him on and off, and he's getting like the bug again to play music again. Nice. So I'm like, whether it's, and he also has like multiple other projects he's done. And I think maybe it's a new project. Hopefully it's Spawn, but I don't think it's Spawn. But it's like, that's what I actually, having him on, I was like, dude, if we can get Spawn of Possession back together, like I'm quitting, like that's the only thing I want. Like I did one thing. And that's like, I want that like tattooed on like my lower back. Like,
I got Spawn of Possession.
Dude, that'd be so sick.
Yeah, it'd be wild, man. I mean, it would be just like insurmountable success. It's like that band. People would eat that shit up, and like our record label, the Artisan Era, did vinyl releases of Noctambulent.
That's right. That's right.
And they sold a fuckload of that shit.
Sure.
Like, they sold a ton of those. I have copies.
So Artisan Era. So you're on Malcolm's label.
Yep. Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Malcolm's cool.
He's the shit.
I like
him and Mike, their other guitar player. They both run it, and they're like the sweetest dudes, and they're very, very, very supportive.
Yeah. I got to get him on the pod.
You should.
He randomly, because he played in Entheos for a little while. That's how I first met him or knew him. And so so he was in Entheos, and I just thought he was some random guitar player. And then I hear about the Artisan Era stuff, and he was in Fury played with like Alter Beast or some tour I saw.
Yep.
And it ended up being me and Malcolm at the end of the night, and me and him were just fucking chopping it up. So we were like, we didn't even know each other. Like we barely knew each other. We were just sitting in the back of the venue, just like joking around and just cracking up the whole. I was like, this guy's fucking hilarious. Like I don't want to agree. Like this guy's fucking rad. Like I was like, we got to keep in touch, man. This like,
dude, you gotta
was
have
like,
them on. They're so funny. Those guys are hilarious. Like I love touring with that band because like when Alex gets in a room with like Malcolm or any of those guys, like our bands like synchronize so well together, just hanging out and vibing. Because like our band Warforged, we've toured with Inferi more than any other band at this point. Like we did almost a month, that Canadian tour with them, like 3.5 weeks or so, and then we did a run with them before, like it was a week, but still, it's like with our scope,
spent a lot of time with
our touring experience, that was a lot, you know. So it's cool to just
that's awesome, man.
Like, yeah,
no, that new album's fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's
even
killer.
Carrie's not like, no, Carrie is like, he's not really like seeking death metal at all anymore. You know, at his age now. When we were kids, we were constantly doing it, but
sure,
he's got a kid now. He's married and stuff like that, so he's not like looking for anything. But he just randomly, the day it came out, he just throws me and Trevor, bass player of All Around, by the way, and is in a rad band called Attic Arcade. Nice. He basically like his little group text, we're all kind of best friends. It's like this little trifecta of best friends.
Sure.
And he throws it in there and he's just all like, dude, that new Inferi is fucking insane. I'm like, for Carrie to say that, like a new death metal album's insane.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, okay, well maybe I'll check this out. And I listened to it and I was like, holy shit, it's fucking great, man. What a good album.
Well,
you know, like, it's fucking,
I know Carrie likes more of that melodic shit, right? That's more of his bag.
Yeah,
so like it makes sense because
his power metal, like prog metal.
Yeah, Inferi does those, like they're very melodic. I feel. Yeah, that album was great, man, and they sold that album did really well. They outsold. Good for them. They outsold Carnifex first week. They outsold Andrew WK first week, and they outsold. They outsold Aborted first week.
Wow.
Yeah, all three of those bands they beat out. So
damn.
Yeah, they fucking.
Holy shit.
They know what they're doing. You know, like they're definitely doing some great shit, and I think they have some great opportunities.
The way you got to do it is, I was talking, I forget who I was talking to. I think I was talking to Andrew Lamb or something like that from Alter Beast, but I was like, because me and him, we go to shows. When I was living in Sacramento, he'd pick me up and we'd go to shows together in like the Bay Area and stuff. So he was saying like, it's all about the pre-sales. He's all, you got to get a ton of pre-sales because that counts as your first week's fucking sale. So if you have a pre-sale 2 or 3 months in advance and you have like 5,000 people buy it or like sign up for it, that'll fucking boost the fuck out of your Billboard shit. So like, you gotta like that's like go time. Like I mean, when an album comes out nowadays, like no one's waiting at the fucking record store for a fucking album. Like, you know, like there's 2 copies go to the record store and you're done. It's like, you know, so it's like you got to get those pre-orders out. That's the way you have to do it. Is like the pre-orders to like show the selling success of your product. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I have a bunch of shit. It's funny that you mentioned that because not only did like, that's like how my, you know, pre-pandemic ended was like, we did that tour with Inferi. It was Black Crown Initiate, Inferi, and us. We opened. Inferi was like, I mean, they had like a merch line all night. It was ridiculous. Like they made a bank on that tour. I'm sure people love that band. Like I feel like most of the draw was there for them most of the nights, and like because it was Black Crown Initiate's first tour back, which was sick, you know.
I'm sure.
Like, you know, but I think a lot of people were there for Inferi, and right after that, we were home for like a few weeks, and then we went out with Alter Beast on that tour that they got busted with weed and all that shit, which was nuts, fucking crazy. And it ended up working out for us because like by the time we had to go home, because we had to come home straight from California on that tour, we would have driven from like Sacramento all the way back to fucking Chicago, which we've done. Yeah. And but I love Alter Beast. I love those dudes. I love Andrew. He's such a fucking sick dude. Shout out Andrew. I want to get him on here at some point. It'd be sweet to have him on. He's just a cool dude, and I loved kicking it with him on tour. And I think he's a real sweetheart. And I think sometimes people misunderstand him. If I'm being honest.
No, I know. That's actually that's what I didn't. That's what I did. What I wanted to do, and I told him, I'm like, dude, I want you on the podcast. He's like, fuck yeah, I'll fucking do it. Like, he's like, I don't know how to do any of that stuff. He's not like technological at all. He's like, I don't know how to do it, but I'll like, you can walk me through. He's like calling me like all week long and trying to feel like, all right, so like I got a computer.
Dude,
all right, so what do I need to do? You know, I was like,
how do I get like trying to zoom onto this computer, man? Yeah. Dude.
And I was like, because me and Andrew go deep. Yeah, we go deep on each other. Like I don't hold any punches with them. I don't pull anything with them. You know, like so I was like, do you mind if I like fucking call you out for being a known dickhead in the metal scene? And he's all fucking ask me, man. I'm fucking down.
People say that shit, and he's not fucking like he is. I guess he is to some people, but like
why is he just like very straightforward or something?
Yeah.
I mean, there's been from what I've heard.
Alter Beast has fallen apart a few times. Yeah, I love Andrew.
Yeah, it's like it's been mostly money things, like money. Yeah.
Yeah, money issues and guys feeling like they're not getting paid, and he's getting a lot of younger guys in his band, so I get it, but it just sucks because like I think that dude's really trying to do it and he really cares about what he does, and we get that tour we did with them was fucking fun.
Totally.
Like, it was awesome, but it was like you could tell that like it wasn't, the crowds were like way different. It was like in Fury we had a shitload of people there. We would play some shows on this Alter Beast run and there was like nothing, but that's because he had just lost it. It was like his first tour with his rebuilt lineup. It was like Alan, my buddy Alan, who plays in that band Symbolic.
Okay.
Symbolic, yeah.
Yeah, he fucked with he toured with Inanimate Existence when we toured with them earlier that year too. So like we had already known Alan. So seeing him again on the Alter Beast tour was just like, oh, this is gonna be the shit.
Hell yeah.
Macabre was on that tour. And have you heard of that band? They're from Wisconsin. Not Macabre, but Macabre. It's like yeah. They're like they're our boys. So I was having them on.
I don't think I've ever heard them. Yeah, but I remember seeing the name.
Those guys are Macabre. They're the shit, dude. They're awesome. They're a really sick band, dudes, and they're just awesome guys. So we basically like took that tour because Macabre was doing it. We were like, yeah, let's just fucking do it. It's gonna be sick, and we basically wouldn't. We were pretty much ready to say yes to anything at that point. But touring with Inferi, like I said, it was just a different contrast. But yeah, man, good times on that shit. There's a lot of good memories on that run. But shit, dude. Yeah, Andrew is just like one of those dudes that I've noticed to be very intense. But I feel like his heart is in the right place, like all the time. Oh shit, did we lose?
Oh
no. Yeah, geez. Yep. Great internet. Thank you, internet. Yeah, that's what
I mean, we're getting it for free, so we can't totally complain.
Yeah, we're just jacking.
No, totally.
Yeah. Do you guys, so yeah, there's a question I want to ask, because Cali Death, the podcast, was formed in the pandemic.
About a year ago. Yeah.
Right. So during the pandemic, do you guys ever plan on at any point, at least for like the four of you, to get like a studio together or try and do something in person together? Have you guys ever thought about that, or you guys just keep it all Zoom?
We've thought about it.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, it was formed through the pandemic. Now, possibly pandemic is on its way. Hopefully be done soon.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. We all live so far away. So Anthony lives an hour and a half from me. Casey lives 8 hours from me. Joseph lives 5 hours from me. So it's like,
damn.
To get us all together in a room, we'd have to like set up a studio just for like a one-time kind of thing, and it would just kind of be. Right now Joseph's in town, so me and Joseph's family lives in Santa Cruz. So he's visiting them right now. So that's why we went to the show last night and stuff. We like when he's actually. And quick shout out to Joseph because he randomly on Wednesday, this last Wednesday, he was like, he told, I heard there's a sick show at the Blue Lagoon. This cool band's playing. You should check it out. And I looked it up. It's a band called Zoth. XOTH.
Okay. I've heard the name. Yeah. I don't think I've ever listened to him though.
Yeah. I was already like a work night. You gotta be really pulling for something for me to go like on a work night. Cause I'm going to drink at a show. I'm not going to not drink. So I'm going to Uber there. I'm going to drink. I'm going to have like that's how I do things. So like it's been part of my, going to shows my whole life is like having a beer in my hand. Yeah. It's a ritual. Totally. It's a total habit of just like, I want to be there and I want to be talking to old friends and stuff like that. And I worked for 12 hours that day. So I'm already like fucking burnt. So I need like some podcast sauce, some conversation sauce. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
I'm already like in a bad mood. I'm not in a bad mood. I'm just like I'm just rather be left alone usually. After a long day at work and shit. But, so I'm just doing that. And I'll do this band Zoth to like, check it out. And I heard like a snippet of it and I was like, it's fucking sick. And then I saw them live and I'm like, they're fucking amazing. I was like, they were doing these battle solos that were like necrophagous solos. They were just bad and they were fucking perfect. And I was like, so they're just going like, what? Like me and Chase, Animosity, Old Decrepit Birth. Yeah. All the bands he's been in. He was there with me and like randomly showed up and we were just sitting there next to each other. Like, what the fuck is dude. He has a funny thing about Chase is like, he randomly like said, fuck smartphones and got a flip phone.
Wow. Sick.
So he's got like looks like a razor, like what he has in his. And he's so like, he's sitting there just going like jamming out, and he just goes like, flips his phone up and just starts like taking a picture of
That's so funny.
A video would have been a nightmare with those things.
Dude, Chase rules, man. He is such a nice guy.
No, Chase is awesome, man. Yeah, last night, we hung out a bunch.
He came out to our first show in Santa Cruz. He came out.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Was like, came right up to our merch table and bought a bunch of shit. And I was like, what, dude? No, this isn't
going on.
You're an animosity. This doesn't make any sense. And
like, Chase is like a legit metal fan.
Yeah,
like
he awesome.
Is. Yeah.
It's really sick to
see.
Actually,
so we're talking about like Cali Death podcast and stuff like that. So as we were on a little break just now, like someone, I'm going to share the screen for a second. Someone made a fucking, I don't know if you can even see it on here, but just to make you guys laugh. But someone made you disabled it. But
oh, did I disable it?
It says host disabled it.
I don't know how to do that.
And it's all good. Don't worry about it. Okay. Check out, we'll probably post it on the Cali Death podcast right now. Someone made a bingo game out of our podcast.
Yeah. And sick.
It's fucking hilarious. So it's like, I'll just read some of them. It's like, it's all cannabis induced memory loss. That's one. I'm just naming up the squares you can get. And one, it's orally imitating guitar and drum noises. So shout out to previous guests is one, Visible Cat or Dog, David Lynch, Tour Story, White Claw, Anthony and Joel are intoxicated. Music theory. Oh my God. Yeah. So music theory discussion. There's Korn. There's a 15 plus minute new metal discussion. Yeah. A random tangent. Instrument technique discussion. Joseph looks something up on Metal Archives. Nice. Someone says like 5+ times in 10 seconds.
Damn.
Hell yeah.
Mr. Bungle or member of
really good.
I have no idea. Like someone like knows all the shit. Like obscure science or philosophy reference. Yeah. Anthony mispronounces something. Yeah. One of them. We were just talking about the mispronunciations.
That's sick. Anthony rules, man. Yeah. Dude, that's why I would love like Danny to be on that show, because I feel like him and
they would just be mispronouncing back and forth.
Anthony's definitely a more like peaceful Danny, like smarter, a little bit more intelligent, and definitely way more intelligent than Danny. But like, it would just be so funny to see them vibe together. Cause like, I love that Dan Kenny episode of Cali Death just cause it's so funny to see how fucked up Anthony gets on it. And like the shit he's saying by the end of the episode is so hilarious. That's like, awesome. He's slurring everything. It's so fucking funny, dude.
Yeah.
It was like back in
we actually did a Canvas Solaris one, and the dude's just fucking
I have that like one dead sober. Next. Yeah,
he's like dead sober, and Anthony gets like the most drunk I don't know if it's the most drunk, but like I listened back to it like audio wise and didn't watch the video. But the thing is, because what he does is he'll start drinking, which is totally cool. Yeah. And then like you just start like, I'm like hitting my little vape Juul nicotine thing. He's hitting that thing like he's hitting his weed one like it's a Juul. Like it's like it's just like boom, 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 boom. He's hitting it like 20 times, and before you know it, his eyes get shut, and then he's like doesn't understand like conversation as well. Like he's like the guests will be talking and shit, and he'll just like go like, no, dude. And just like go on this random tangent and like interrupt the guests and shit.
Hell yeah. I love Anthony, man. He is he's such a sweetheart, dude. Like I sent him some lyrics. Totally. I sent him some lyrics a couple weeks ago of some new Warforged shit I'm working on. And I was just like, what do you think of this? He's like, dude, this is sick. And I'm like, do you really think it's sick? And he's like, yes, I really think it's sick. I'm like, okay, nice. Fuck yeah. It's just cool to like talk to you guys now. You know what I mean? Like this is like, I like was all about those bands, Severed Savior, Decrepit Birth, like all of your fucking bands. Like I remember when I walked into that show in Addison, I saw Casey sitting there warming up wearing drummer gloves. And I was like, God damn, this is going to be fucking insane. Like I knew it right then and there. I was like, God. And it's just like, he looks so focused and somebody's like, yeah, you should go say what's up. And I'm like, no way. I would never disturb that. Like can't fucking burst that bubble. You guys were like, that was that tour.
Is that crazy? Is that crazy? That's so crazy. So like you see those people and you're like, they end up like being like you like later down the line, you're like cool with them.
Yeah.
Like Mike Hamilton, same thing. Nuts. I was a little kid. Like he was warming. I was like seeing Deeds of Flesh play, and he had his drums against the wall, his back facing the wall. And I'm just standing next to him and I'm watching him like, they're all like padded down and he's like working on his drums. And I was like, oh my God, dude, that'd be a nightmare to go talk to him right now.
So funny,
like man. I've never, and now he's like someone I could just call anytime. He's like one of my, like I consider him my dad now. Like basically he's like,
That's awesome.
Like it's gone from like 0 to 60 of just like friendship, you know.
That's so cool. It's so cool.
That's what's cool. Death metal, man.
Yeah, it's the shit, dude. And like so it's funny. We were talking about the town Aurora when I was first dating my girlfriend. Now, she used to live out in Aurora, and when Cali Death started, that's when I would start listening to it. It was because I live in the city, and I would have like this hour drive to listen to, you know, or even more. So like I would listen to Cali Death, like I just like put it on the way there, and then listen to the second half on the way back, and I'm like, this is the shit, you know. It was just so fucking fun to be there, like especially like in the early episodes. Like I caught on episode 2 with Decrepit Birth. That was like when I first saw it like on.
That was my first one. Yeah,
dude, very fucking sick. And there's so many now that I haven't kept up with it like I should, but like I just watched the one where you had Mike Hamilton on again, because I love his drumming. Personally, I think he's a big influence on me, and it's just sick to hear him talk. But man, it's really funny because I met Mike Hamilton once, like not to where I would ever think he would even remember me, but it was an Exhumed tour. I think it was a Revocation headliner. It was like Revocation, Exhumed, Rivers of Nile, and that band Yautja. Remember them?
Vaguely.
Baron Air played with them years ago.
Yeah.
But it was, you know, and the Exhumed guys like to fucking party when they come to Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
And like they have so many fans in Chicago. So like I'm in the green room smoking weed with Rivers, and there's like cocaine all up in the Reggie's green room, you know, and it's just like, whoo, what is going on here? You know, and I don't partake. I don't judge anybody that does.
It's not your choice.
Have fun doing what you like to do. You know, I respect it. I don't disrespect it. You know, people do what they got to do. But yeah, I was definitely not. And it was just so funny because like I was talking to Mike Hamilton, and he seemed like I didn't see him touch a single drug. And like,
oh no, yeah, he's pretty much. He might have a couple beers.
Yeah, he was very like straight and narrow, and I was expecting him to be like a lot wilder, but he was like, "Oh, nice to meet you, man," and I was just like, you're on of what's to come, dude. Like I didn't say that to him, but in my mind, I'm just like it's in my brain. It's just like, oh, that.
There's a small period of time where Mike lived like literally, I want to say from my house at the time, he lived like 2 exits away from me because he was dating this girl.
Damn, that's sick.
It was like this kind of like local metalhead chick that we all knew, and like he was dating her and just lived in Capitola, which is like fucking a hop, skip, and a jump. So it's like. And we had this like fucking party house, and we're like, dude, come over and fucking hang out. Let's fucking, it's a furniture dome. Which is part of the,
my bad.
That's part of the bingo.
Yeah.
It's a Thunderdome.
Yeah, the furniture dome. The Pound is the bingo one. That's got to be on there, though. Mentionings of the Pound.
What is it?
The Pound, when you guys, is that on there?
It's not on there. That should be on there for sure. That has to be
on there. Yeah.
Yeah. Whoever's listening, if you fucking put the Pound on there,
please do it.
Let's dial in this bingo a little bit. Let's get it correct.
Yeah, got to have the Pound mention.
No, but he would like, I remember one time he came over and like, you know, I'm like in the heat of my partying mode. You know, I'm like 27 or 26 or something. And, he comes over and he's just like, you know, we've toured everywhere. It's like one of my best fucking touring buddies, you know, and I'm so stoked he's here. So I'm just like, let's get a bottle of Jack and just hang out. And so we down the bottle of Jack, and I can tell pretty quickly that he's not the drink. Like I thought, like, he's a rock star. He's a drinker. You're like, blah, blah. And like, it was just me, like ended up being, he was just like sitting there, like trying to hang out. He's like holding like a glass, and he's just like,
oh no.
And I had on my old flip phone, I had like a video, and I like went up to him like in his face, and I was like, what's up? I was like, I kicked his shoe. I'm like, what's up, Mike? He's just all like, what's up, man? Let's fucking hang out. Like he's like trying to like keep back to life. And I could tell so like, funny. And he's told me before, he's like, no, I was never on your guys' level with like the partying and stuff like that, and drinking and stuff. He's all, I like to have a few beers, but like he always like, I've maybe seen Mike drunk, like really drunk, like once in my life. Yeah. Like, and I've hung out with him probably 150 times, you know, it's like, so he always was like, that's why he's kind of like the tour dad. He was like always the dad. He was like part of Unique Leader, responsible, telling you what to do.
Very familiar.
He was always this, very straight edge, or not straight edge, but like straight, like he was the cognizant one in the drunk crew. It would be like, this is what we're doing. This is what's going on next. Like he was like, and he felt like felt like he wanted to like keep up. Yeah, he felt like he wanted to like keep up with me and stuff. And like, so he like was just taking shots with me and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, shots. I was like, And I was up, like, fuck yeah, let's fucking hang out. And he was just like out.
Yeah, dude, Bill, that's you in our band, man.
Yeah,
but except you don't ever compete with anybody. You would never be like, I've never seen you try to do that. I've only seen Bill smoke weed once in my entire life.
Where was that?
At your last Halloween, last 4th of July barbecue at your old house years ago. That was before I was smoking weed.
Yeah.
Way before I started smoking weed. So, oh shit. Oh no. I hope he didn't lose the internet. Let's see. It says we got him, so I don't think it's us.
No.
Wait.
Oh, did we got you? Hold on. We hear you. Do you hear us?
I think we're good.
Are we good? Yeah, we're good. Oh, yeah. Oh, internet connection. It's unstable. I think we're here. Maybe we should get wrapping it up so we don't fucking. Oh, all right. Yeah. Oh, do we got you?
Oh, there you are. Yeah, we got it. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. I know. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah,
I lost you guys.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man, that is very fucking sick that you just get to fucking hang out with these dudes. That's fucking insane, man. I couldn't imagine.
No, it's kind of it's a trip, man. It went from like the same analogy went from 0 to 60. Went from like me, like it was me and Kiri sitting in our parents' bedroom or our bedroom at our parents' house. Yeah. Like having these conversations, like maybe like the conversation was literally maybe one day we can play a show with Decrepit Birth, dude. Like maybe one day, like we'll get the opportunity. Like that was like the fucking Mount Rushmore of just like we can play a show with them. Like we're good enough to play along with them. Maybe one day we can do it. And then fast forward like 4 years after that, and I'm in the band. It's like, it was like a total kind of, and Carrie was kind of like, and props to Carrie, because Carrie is like one of those guys that's like, he's all, he's never trying to join bands. He wants to create his own art. And, like for me, I was like, people are like, oh, I'm having fun hanging out with you and you can play your instrument decent. So like, do you want to go on tour? And I was like, fuck, well, I can't say no. Like, it's like, yeah. And so before I knew it, I was in Decrepit Birth, which is not my, project at all. But I was like, I'm in Decrepit Birth though. So I fucking want to do it. You know what I mean? Like, it started as a fill in, like I'm doing that Black Dahlia tour to like, it's like, fuck yeah. We like the way you handled yourself on tour, the way you played, blah, blah. So we're just going to keep offering you more. And like, okay, you're a permanent member now. Like, it's like, it became that. And it just basically like, it hit a head where like I was dumpster diving for fucking dinner and like I was getting down a path that was, and I had like the hot girlfriend and stuff that was going, and I was leaving for months and like he was giving me shit. And I also like without the girlfriend, like I still like I'm living in the like probably top 3 most expensive places in the United States to live. Yep. So like to even like a room here is like, I mean, nowadays a room here is like $1,200. Like if you're like getting a room with some like of a little tiny room in a house. Right now I'm living in like a mansion. Yeah. But it's because like we have my roommate and best friend fucking Trevor fucking like has a rich friend that just like came up into some money and they bought all these houses and now we can live in one of them. You know what I mean? It's all about, in this town, it's all about who you know, because that's it's insane. Like, I literally randomly like look at, like I was on the Copper Crap podcast a couple of weeks ago and they're moving to Tennessee. And so like, and I understand why they're moving. Like, it's just like you look at fucking Zillow or something here and it's like a fucking comedic event for you. You're like, you're old 975 square feet. All right. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. Tight. Okay. So $980,000. You're like,
it's crazy.
Yeah. Fucking
it's wild. And I have friends that just are buying houses. They're like, oh, I got it, dude. I got a good deal. 1.1. I'm like,
oh my God.
Fuck.
Yeah. 1.1.
Like that's like the payments. Like if you didn't put any money down on that, the payments would be like $7,000, like $6,000 a month. Yeah. Like that's like, that's insane. Like, it's almost, and it sucks because it's my hometown. It's just getting over. We're right next to Google, like over the hills. Google, use all the things like Apple, everything you could think of. So like, there's people that are like, well, I don't mind commuting 30 minutes. So I'm going to go to the beach town. Sure. And now everyone's working remote now. So during COVID, like shit spiked here. Like shit went up here because people were like, well, I'd rather live by the beach and Zoom my work and do shit like that rather than go over the hill and be in an office. And now it's becoming more acceptable, obviously, over there. So it's like people are just eating the houses here. Like they'll be like, oh, someone puts a house up for like 900,000, it sells for 1.2. Like, because people are competing. Like it's like people have like fuck you money out here, you know? It's like, and I make really good money for what I did as a kid. Like I'm making like, I'm like, you know, good money, but like in this town, like I'm like lower middle class. Like I'm like,
sure, yeah.
It's like 6 figures here is like, it's like, oh, 6 figures tight, dude. Like how about 7?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like, you know, it's like, it's fucked up here. It's like, it's all relative. Like you go to this, like, let's say I go to Chicago or go to another place that has the same job. I'll get paid, you know, $40,000 less a year, but like housing costs are less. So I'll be paying way less than that. Gas is less. Everything's less. So it's like a relative, like, it's like you're kind of making the same money. You know what I mean? Like, in Oklahoma, if you're making $60,000 a year there, that's like making 150 grand here. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, as far as like the relative costs of everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's shit like that all over Chicago too. Like,
we have pockets like that.
You know, we have, like, even by me, like I live in the north side of the city, and like where I live is not a very definitely lower middle class, I would say. But like the further north you go, once you get out of the city, it's all the like on Sheridan Road. You get up to Evanston.
It's pretty crazy up there.
You get into the towns like where the houses, like
Glencoe,
where Wilmette, Wilmette is where the Home Alone house is. So if you're ever fucking looking to see the Home Alone house, we got that. You know, it's like houses that big. It's
Highland Park is where Michael Jordan lived. Ditka lives there. Like a lot of Billy Corgan lived there.
Yeah, I think he still lives up north, Billy Corgan. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
It's like all kinds of rich.
So Chicago gets portrayed, you know, like living in California, or just all I know about Chicago is this the news, or like the way the media, like it turns into it's like turned into a narrative or whatever. But like, I just hear like how Chicago, like all the gun shit, like deaths and stuff like that. Is it really like being in that city? Is it really as bad as it's portrayed?
I mean,
it depends on where you are. Yeah, there's definitely sections that are as bad as you might hear, but honestly, there's so much better sections in Chicago that are bigger and way better. Like, I mean,
it's like there's suburbs and shit. It's not like it's like Sacramento. Like I used to tell people I live in Sacramento, but I didn't live in Sacramento. I live like on the suburbs out there. I live on the outside. Like I didn't go like Sacramento. I only went to Sacramento for like a basketball game or like a fucking show. You know what I mean? Like, but I was in Roseville, but it was Sacramento.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I've lived in a couple burbs myself in Chicago, but I've lived in like 3 different spots in Chicago proper now. And, I mean, it's just like and it's hard for me to say because I've never lived in any other city. You've never lived in any other city. So it's like we've lived here our whole lives. So all my comparisons I really have are when I travel places or when I'm on tour or something like that. And it's just like any other city.
Have you seen someone like get shot or something? Have you seen someone like get like shot?
I've heard it. That's
the kind of shit that I wanted to know.
I've seen a guy on the ground before with a bunch of cops around him.
Yeah, we've seen people
shot,
like
but
that
I didn't see the shooting.
But we've seen plenty of sketchy shit, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
but it's just as sketchy as shitty parts of like San Francisco, like, and shit like that. Like, you know,
exactly.
It's
I know.
Like,
that's what I'm saying. It's like, I mean, it's kind of like portrayed as like there's this like you're like go down the street and you're just like dodging bullets. It's like how it's kind of portrayed, and I'm like, it's not that bad.
Yeah,
it's not that bad.
No, it's not.
Like,
like, you know, I mean, on the South Side, there's a lot of shitty like gang violence and guns, but you know,
and the South Side is so gigantic too. It's a weird section of the city.
Chicago's a giant city, so it's just like it's so far and there's so much to it. It's just like, you know, I just like to get baked and fucking cruise up on the north side and see all the fancy shit. I never like chill on the South Side really, but like we've played house shows in like Little Village, which is like the town that Cook County Jail is in and shit. Yeah. We've definitely like played shows where gang members were working as bouncers there. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Definitely have done that shit, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but you know.
Never had issues.
Yeah, we've never had I mean, I've seen some shit at those shows, but never gun violence at any of those shows. So, in fact, last time we tried to do an outdoor show, it got shut down by the cops because Danny was chanting Ferguson. Remember that? It was right when the Ferguson shit was going down. Yeah, so
maybe that's not a good idea. But
yeah.
And then, like, after our first song, he was pissed drunk, but like after our first song, he
the cops
was like,
all right, shut it down. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, it was funny. It was funny. Yeah. But yeah, man. I mean,
that's definitely like, I mean, Chicago, every time I've been there has been like peaches and cream. You know, that's why like like walking down, I walked down, that main, the Oprah building or whatever, and the main fucking like the river going down all the bridge with all like they turn it green or whatever. Like I've seen that.
River,
I've like fucking had like awesome food there. Walked and I've been to Kuma's a million times and and I've always had a great time in Chicago. But then like it's just like I don't like watch much media, but it's always kind of like. It's like Chicago's like fucking off the charts. Like everyone's dying. Like there's like, it's just like, and I was like, I mean, for you guys living there, and it's another thing too. It's like, with a city that's that big, that's like a big fucking city. And to kind of just be like, it's like saying LA, like there's a lot of shootings in LA. Well, LA is fucking, to drive from one side of LA to another side of LA is like 2 hours. Like it's not like, it's not like a lot of tiny little city that like, there's a lot of people, a lot of variables in that. And it's like, I think, I've always had a good time in Chicago, and it gets like this, it gets shat on, like as far
it does
as like,
all the time, but it's just like, I love it. It's my home, feels like my home, like.
Yeah,
totally.
It's a weird age because like we're like the poster child for like gun control, but we're also surrounded by the most like uncontrolled like gun states. So
it's very
that's true. That's true. Yeah, it's like you drive a few miles and fucking like, guns are totally legal. You
can get to Indiana in like guns. I don't know what 10 minutes from the city. Like it's not far. Like you can hop
Indiana's
right over.
Gnarly. Indiana, like I've played shows there before where I'm like I'm scared.
That's,
I'm like
that's some shit for sure.
At least some sketchy shit in Indiana.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's just the vibe. And it's like if you think about it, even just Illinois as a whole as a state, like you have Chicago and then you have the rest of Illinois. It's like
when you get out in the deep burbs.
It's kind of like Michigan. It's like Michigan and Detroit.
Oh yeah, like, absolutely.
Detroit's kind of like like
people
the gnarly spot, but there's fucking Michigan too.
Yeah.
Like
there's great spots in Michigan. Yeah, it's funny how that works.
Totally. Yeah, and Detroit actually was pretty gnarly. I'm not gonna downplay Detroit. Yeah. We used to play Harpo's all the time, and there'd be like. There'd be a guy, the person that would, we had a security guard just watching the back door for us to load our gear in, and he was just fully armed.
I believe it. Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, what's going on here? He's like, yeah, he's all about like 6 months ago, a band was loading in and some guy shot the band member in the head and took their shit.
Oh, great.
I was like, oh, cool. And I was really stupid back then. So back then I was very intrigued by these, kind of like crime plagued, like gnarly neighborhoods. I don't know why I was like, I had this thing and I would just, this is the dumbest fucking shit I would do. This is how dumb I am. I would go and I would just call it ghetto walking. Where I would get drunk and just walk through like, where's the gnarliest street around here? They're like, it's down there. And I'll just get drunk and just walk down it.
Jeez.
Just to see what happens.
And it was, but just to see what like I was like risking my life just because I wanted to see the people coming out and being like, and I got fucking harassed and yelled at and shit. But but the thing is though, what I would do is I would start acting like I was like mentally disturbed.
Oh hell yeah!
and those guys don't want to fuck with any of that shit. Like they see like a guy that might be like mentally it might be special or something. Like you do that around them, they're like, fuck that. I'm not dealing with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I would do that, and I was like, because I wanted to see it for myself. I was like I was probably watching too much fucking A&E or something like that. Like watching too many shows as a kid. Like I wanted to see it in
48 hours.
Yeah.
Like.
Exactly. And there'd be people coming out like we would like make wrong turns and stuff in Detroit. And people would like be coming out on their fucking on their front like a lawn and shit and like scream like, get the fuck out of here. You guys know you're like not like welcome, like screaming at us. And we're like, oh shit, we're in the wrong spot. Like we'd be like, damn, this is because we're coming from such a very peaceful, loving community in town that like we're like we wanted to, I don't know, it's just one of those things that you're just intrigued by because like
you don't see it
tour the United States, you don't see it. You don't. I mean San Francisco was fucking almost gnarlier than all of that though, so it's like I went to go see a show I saw Cartilage and Ontogeny play, and like I got a hotel. I was like, I want like a nice hotel. I just want something nice. So I want like a 4-star hotel, like whatever. Like I want like a nice hotel. So I got a 4-star hotel. And I pull up there and just right away, just a dude just walks up like with his dick out and starts pissing like on a car.
Fuck yeah.
That's one of
And
those
then,
stars right there.
I know, right? He's like looking at me. I'm like stuck at the light. He's like looking at me with like his like monster dong out, just like pissing like on a fucking. He's got a fucking dude's got a hammer. Just like sitting there, just like yeah, check out my. And then I go down the next street and some guy's taking a shit.
2 stars,
man. Jesus Christ!
I know it's insane, dude. I was like,
wow.
And people spend so much fucking like looking at the apartments up there, and I like. This is the thing I do. I like look at like my surroundings and see all the crazy shit. I saw a guy smoking crack. Saw a guy like swinging out of a probably crack a glass pipe, like that's not a weed pipe, and like fucking. I just saw the shit and was like, I don't care. Like I'm not like whatever to get high, dude. Fuck it. But at the same time, I'm just like, okay, there's apartments up there. I'm like, how much do they go for? Like I want to see how much those go for. And it'll be like, oh, they're $1 million a piece. I'm just like,
to live
what?
there.
That's
like
so fucking. That's your view.
Yeah.
Is that?
I'm fucking
This is
and I'm just like shit.
it's just rough.
It's just a town. It's just a rough town. It's a rough town, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got robbed there in San Francisco, right? This is San
that's
Francisco.
right.
Yeah, we got robbed our first time, our only time there. We got robbed there. So
I forgot about
and that's because we made some stupid
Robbed or
mistakes.
burglarized?
Burglarized, like stole, like
Okay.
Yeah,
our van got broken
right.
into. Yeah,
You guys weren't there, right?
No, we weren't there.
Yeah.
So, and I filed
I've had
a whole
a
police report over the phone.
Well,
Yeah.
Oh God, that's always fun. Actually,
Yeah.
in Vegas, I remember someone actually shout out to Murray Fitzpatrick. You got your jersey, by the way. I
Oh
saw.
yeah, I do.
fuck
Yeah.
Hell
So
yeah.
like he had so I actually
Yeah, you lost
Like-
yours right at the airport.
I lost 2 of them and at the leaving the Psycho Fest.
Yeah,
I like
that shit
someone
got
took my
stolen.
fucking bag.
Yeah,
Like
it
at
sucks.
TSA, like going through the security. It's not like it got lost in the fucking like the I don't know, like giving your bag to the front counter.
Yeah.
I was like literally getting like checked at the like putting my hands up and getting the scan,
Yeah,
and some guy just grabbed my bag and took it. And like I was like, and this asshole at the fucking TSA was like, she was like literally like she was yelling at me to like pull my pants up super high, and I'm like, dude, they're up. I was like,
Yeah.
she's all pull it up higher, and maybe like pull my shorts up like around my belly button.
What the
yeah.
And she was like yelling at me about like I was like, is my butt out? Is my asshole out? Like, why are you fucking like? I've never had this happen. Pull my
Yeah.
pants up like all the way up to like a circle shit. And
Yeah.
and then finally, by the time she's done, I get there and my bag's gone. I'm just like, fuck. So
Oh, great.
I told the story on the podcast, and then
Yeah.
fucking Murray's just all like. He's all like, hey, I already sent your jerseys back out to you. Like, you got like all your shit. He like, Murray just immediately just like sent jerseys out for me.
That's
Like,
so
just fucking
sick. Yeah,
got
he's
me
awesome,
like
man.
fucking hooked up. So shout out to him. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, we
Yeah,
had
totally.
Anthony on, and I was talking to him about how sick I thought those were, and then literally like the day our episode aired with him, he messaged me. He's like, "Yeah, I'll make you a jersey, man. What do you want on it?" I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's such a fucking awesome.
Murray's the
dude.
man, dude. Murray's the biggest
Oh, yeah.
supporter. Yeah, totally.
He's
Hell
fucking
yeah.
sick. He's very sick, and I mean, Severed Savior. Come on now, you know.
It's like one of my favorite bands. It's like
Yeah, they're the shit.
like top 3 or 4 favorite bands in my life. Like that was like hearing them and watching them live and stuff, and watching Mike Gilbert play live and watching Murray play live and stuff like that when I was a kid. Like, and we were like, that's like when I joined Odious and stuff in 2003, 2002. They were like bringing us out on these little mini tours with Severed, and like,
Yeah,
man, I was just like, you guys are so fucking good. It's insane. Like some of those riffs and shit. I'm just like, still to this day, I still think it's like some of the most interesting stuff I've ever heard.
oh
you know?
yeah, it's crazy how fucking good that
Yeah.
band is. Shit is fucking nuts, man.
So what are you guys listening to? Like, what's your album of the? I mean, I've been drinking these 8% White Claws,
Yeah.
nice. Very
but
nice.
so I'm a little sauce now. But what's album of the year though for you guys? You can only give me one. I don't want to hear 2. I want to hear 1.
Any genre? Like, there's no
Anything.
Okay.
Anything.
Mine's probably Roadrunner by Brockhampton. They're a hip hop collective. I really like that
Cool.
album, and I still am listening to it a lot throughout this year, and it came out in like April. That's probably my album of the year, I think.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
What
it's
about
pretty
you,
good.
man?
Do you have an album of the year? Bill doesn't
He's
listen
looking
to
for
a
his
lot of
phone.
new music.
Listen to much.
Yeah, Bill is not like the music.
Oh,
man.
no, wait. It's 2021. Fuck.
Yeah.
I like this album from last year.
What is it?
The band Idols.
What is
Ultra
that?
Mono.
What is that? We'll get.
Yeah. Oh, that band Idols.
Idols
Yeah,
from,
yeah.
I believe, England.
Okay.
Could be wrong. It's called Ultra Mono. I've been like listening to it like nonstop since
Yeah.
because my buddies took me out to a show was actually his birthday.
Okay.
They had an extra ticket and they're like, oh, come on out. And I was like, all right, I'll go. Like, I don't know who the fuck this band is.
Yeah.
And they were fucking sick. I was like, oh, this was awesome. And I've been listening to them like nonstop and
that's fucking
watching all their videos and whatnot. Like a lot of good live videos.
One really cool thing I like about you guys is that like, and it's kind of similar in our scene and over like where we're from and stuff, is that like, it's very eclectic. Like a lot of people, like even talking to Tim Smollins from the Stratosphere, we did that on Thursday. And Tim's like a fucking, like he's like metal is like his like not least favorite, but it's like it's not like influential at all for him. He uses it as like an aesthetic or a way to speak a part of a song. He doesn't know the metal bands.
Sure.
He's just like a super advanced musician and just knows how to play it. You know what I mean? So it was really cool. He's like Beach Boys is his favorite band. Like it's like,
fuck yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wild,
and he was like, and he was going through like the theory of Beach Boys and shit and like going through it. And I'm like, holy shit. Like they were basically like, I mean, after hearing him talk, they were the first prog band, I want to say, because they were doing things that people weren't doing. And I actually he gave me a big list of stuff to listen to, which I haven't listened to yet, but yeah, that's, I mean, for me this year,
what do you have?
Probably it's probably fucking, probably Alluvial.
That one's good as fuck, dude.
I just can't get it out of my fucking, I like literally listen to it.
Yeah.
And I just like literally drive around. I'm like, what am I going to listen to? Okay, Alluvial. I just like, it's like a thing where I can't, it's like when you can't think of something to listen to and you're driving and you're like, fuck, you got to like, fucking listen. I want to put a song on now. Like, you're like, whatever, Alluvial, it's right there.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, they're awesome, dude. That CD is great.
Yeah.
Wes Howe got them licks, dude. He's got those fucking.
Dude, that guitar playing is fucking insane, dude.
Yeah, he's incredible. Yeah, it's great. It's an awesome record. It's very like that's one of my favorite metal albums this year. I've really been fucking with. Do you listen? And I wouldn't expect if you didn't. Do you fuck with that band Viljarda at all?
You know, it's funny because who posted about it? Did Jared Klein or someone posted the other day about it, about like how they're blown away by it, but I haven't heard it yet.
Yeah, I love it. I'm really into that. That's probably my favorite like metal record, but I also really love the new Rivers of Nile. Maybe I'm a little biased, but I do think it's a great album.
I've only listened to it all the way through once.
Yeah.
So I need to like, it's one of those albums like basically like, so that band, I've seen that name everywhere. And before their last album, before Owls came out, like, I was hanging out with Jared from Archaic and he had a Rivers of Nile hat on. We went to a Carrie's birthday, went to Carrie's birthday together. And so he had a Rivers of Nile hat on. I was like, what's up with that band? I see that name everywhere. This is like 6 months before Owls was coming out. And he's like, yeah, they're fucking sick, man. We played like done tours with them and stuff like they're fucking rad, blah, blah. And then they released a little, maybe they released the whole song of a home, I think it was, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, the recording instantly, I was like, oh my God, this is fucking like amazing. Like, I'm like fucking been sleeping on this band for this long. And then heard the rest of the album and was like, holy fuck. Like that album is like one of those, like, it's almost like the Alluvial album. It's one of those like bands that like, it's kind of like, yeah, you're doing your thing, blah, blah. Then they just have one album. It's like they're Rain in Blood. It's like, boom. Like all of a sudden they're headlining shit. Like all of a sudden, you know, it's like very impressive. I feel like you guys, same thing. Like you guys I feel like your next album is going to be like it's your maker. I think you guys could make it into the big time. I'm just saying.
I hope so, man.
Like, no, it's very like your guys' fucking music. I fucking love it, man. Like, honestly, like I even told you, like even before that podcast, I was like, oh, Warforged is on. Okay, well, literally like 30 minutes before the podcast, I'm sitting on the couch and my roommate, we're just talking and I'm actually talking about how I don't want to I was like tired. I'm like, I don't want to do the podcast right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to do any of this shit. Blah, blah. I'm just tired. Like I'm gonna have to like get drunk to like hang out. Cause I'm like fucking like hate my life right now. And so, I threw it on. I was like, this is fucking sick. Like, I think it's your episode and Ophidia and I, like, I'd never heard any of those bands.
Yeah, that band is pretty sick.
And I like randomly threw them on right before and was just like, going like, oh shit, this is actually fucking good. Like, I'm like, okay. Like, I'm like getting excited. And then pop on, it's your face. And I'm like, oh, fucking, no, that's a fucking podcast guy. Fuck yeah. And then like, I was like, it was just like all these things at once because I was just so scattered because I did work in like, IT shit. And I'm just my brain's just fucking
fried
on another level,
yeah.
like so fried. Yeah, exactly. So, and to see your face on there, I was like, oh my God, this guy is fucking like going to be easy as fuck to talk to. It's not going to be like, we don't have to pull anything out of this guy. Cause that's actually what Cheney and Naveen, that's why they were like, they're going to have me on again. Cause like, I hit them up and I was like, dude, you guys like talking to you. Cause they're also like some of my best friends, but like as far as like talking to them, like when you have those guests that like you have to pull shit out of and you're just like sitting there waiting.
Yeah,
totally. And you got to and I have this like weird OCD thing about like silence, like that where you're sitting there going like shaking, going like, and no one's saying anything. Like that kills me. That drives me fucking insane.
Not have that on a podcast, definitely. But we've definitely both of us have been there over the years where it's just like there's some of those episodes. Where you're just like,
let's talk about that. Six fucking years, dude. You guys have been doing this. So that's actually pretty cool. Do you guys remember? I'm just fucking blabbing, but you remember Son of Aurelius? There was the Aurelia cast.
Yes, I do remember it. I used to listen to it.
Yeah, that was Carrie's deal, and he'd have me on every now and then. That was like 2013 or 14, something like that. And it fucking was like top 3 music podcasts on Apple for a while.
Yeah, wow.
And it was doing like I was like on it. Like Carrie had just this fucking. It looks like a perfect plan of what he wanted. It was totally planned out. He'd hand everyone a syllabus printed out syllabus, and we'd sit there in a circle, and we'd be like, it wasn't filmed; it was only audio. But it would just be in a recording studio. We sit there and just start like talking and vibing. And it was fucking fun. And it was installed like every time we have you on, like the hits are higher. Like we need to have you on more.
Wow.
And so but it was like, but it just basically turned into this big like the last episode. It was doing really good, and it was like on back in those days, 2013, 14, it was getting like 4,000 listens a week or something on each episode. So it was starting to like pop up pretty huge, and then like it just turned into like a fucking at the end of one podcast, it just turned into like the end of it was just like, you know what, fuck you. Like so one person said to another, I'm not gonna say who, but it was just one guy on the podcast was like, you know what, fuck you, dude, and it just turned into this like fucking like gnarly fight, like screaming and yelling and just like, fuck you, I'm out. And it just fucking ended. It was just done. And I'm like, dude, this was like, I remember like me and Carrie were like, we've been about the podcast since like, 2008, 2009 when they were first starting, and like Adam Carolla back in the day. And then when Rogan started, we were listening to Rogan, and in 2009, 2010. And like, we were like all about it. That's like what we listened to. I would just download a bunch of them and just go on tour and listen to them and make everyone listen in the van, listen to it with Decrepit. But, it's really cool to see like, I mean, you guys doing it that long, man. That's like, so what inspired you to fucking start doing this? Cause that's a while ago. It wasn't like it wasn't like nowadays everyone has a fucking podcast. Like you guys, it wasn't everyone has a podcast back then.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to. I mean, I had tossed the idea on Facebook because I was listening to podcasts at the time, and I was like, "Fuck, man, I'd be good at this." Like, there was a lot of stuff I wanted to like talk about with music specifically, and I was like, maybe I'll do a music podcast thing because I was really into record collecting and shit like that at the time. And I hit up a status, and Bill was the first one that was like, I would be down. And I'm like, well, I play in a band with Bill. We play in Roman Ring together.
Have a rapport.
So I was like, that might as well be. And I know that like, cause I don't know, like I do not know how to do. Bill is like handles everything with the show.
I have the background in like recording and stuff.
I have no background in anything, so I'm just like the entertainment. I'm like the whore of the show, So it's like I'm the one that gets sold out.
Me too. That's me and Anthony, those guys on the Cali Death one. We just show up. Like Joseph does the nice flyers. Casey does all the production and all the background stuff. And then I just show up drunk and just like blab. And then people are like, fuck yeah, dude.
I get baked as fuck on the show. And Bill is like 110% sober. And I'm just like, there's some episodes on this show where I'll even look back and I'm like, God damn, I got like,
what have I done?
Fucked up.
Yeah.
But it's like,
that's the problem for me. Like I'll like wake up in the morning because we'll go till like 11 or 12 at night. And like I'll wake up in the morning like, fuck, like all of a sudden, like I get a text like, it's up. Podcast is up. I'm like, shit. I like remember like I'll remember one like weird spicy part or some part where I fucked up or something like that, and I'll like rewatch it and I'll be like, okay, it wasn't that bad.
Well, you
Okay,
guys,
thank
you
God.
guys
Fuck yeah.
record them and then post them the next day, right? You guys do it like that quick?
Yeah.
That's
That's
wild.
crazy.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
like we're 2 weeks ahead of our
usually
schedule,
it's
I think,
a
right
week,
now.
but now we're 2.
Yeah, we're doing it now just because it's a little easier sometimes for just in case scheduling.
We've done it a couple times where we stack. We'll be like, or Anthony or me or someone will be like, we can't do this Thursday, so we'll try to get someone from like, Germany or something where we have to do a Saturday or Sunday. So we have to do it early in the morning to compensate for the time change for Australia. Or Australia is not too bad, but we'll do like a compensation episode where we'll just do like stack them. And for us, you guys are frozen. Shit.
Oh shit!
Oh no, we can.
We got you. We got
frozen.
You. No, we're not.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah.
You're back.
Okay, cool. Alrighty, good.
But no, it's like we stack it. It's because we kept it so consistent that like it's weird for us where we have to do this podcast. We're like, so this Friday we're like totally like lying. It's like a Sunday morning at like 8 a.m. We're like, fuck, like it's like dying. But it's I'm super glad we started doing it. It was like one of those things that in the beginning I was like, Casey was like, I want to start a podcast. And I'm like, I don't know. Like everyone's got a fucking podcast now. Like I don't really want to do it now. Like I did it back in the Railycast days and that was like cool. But like, I don't know what we can really talk about now. It's going to be different than what's out there. And fucking Deeds of Flesh came on first episode and just like blew it up. And we're like, fuck, okay, this looks sick. Actually want to try it now.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. It's like, and to answer your question, your original question, like for us, it was sort of like, when we first started it, I think we just wanted to try it and see what would happen. And our show went through so many transformations over the years until
it's definitely changed a bit. But the idea was always kind of like a free form thing.
Yeah, once we kind of like got our feet wet and we realized like, wait a minute, we could just do shit with whatever we want to do, but keeping it within our own context, because a lot of our old episodes were usually just me and Bill. Like we would never have guests on, and then we would get like a guest every once in a while. And now it's like we get guests almost every week. Yeah. Sometimes if we don't have a guest, it's usually because we're bad at planning. But like we started doing these episodes. We do like album theme episodes. Where we'll do we started by doing these new metal episodes. Bill was like, I want to do a new metal episode. And we got the singer in Bill's band, Something Is Waiting. His name's Eddie. Eddie comes on the show and we each pick a new metal album. But I don't like new metal. Like, I didn't like new metal at the time. So I was just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do with this. So I was like, all right, I'll do that if we do a death metal episode. Because I was like,
I don't like death metal.
Yeah, so it's like, Bill barely listens
We're like
to
the
death
odd
metal.
couple.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's
awesome.
like, Bill, like, it's, like you love Spawn and Possession and shit like that, and you like Arcspire and shit. But then it's like most death metal, you're like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
it's just so funny.
More miss than hit. Yeah.
So it's just like, all right, if you're gonna do that, let's do the death metal. And then we get our guitar player Nate from Roman Ring on for those episodes, and then we started doing a metalcore one with Alex from Warforged. And then we'll do like a free-for-all episode where we break all genre barriers, and it's like pick any album that you just want to talk about.
Any one of our friends.
Yeah, and we'll just have anybody come on the show and do that just to kind of keep it like a revolving door. And that way it's kind of cool because we do still get to talk about music that we like, but it's awesome because we really do get to talk about music we like in the moment. Yeah. So
and it's fun because,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like anybody, we're not just tied to one genre. We like all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're asking us
kind of fun
our
to talk
albums
about
of the year, and neither mine or Bill is like a death metal record, it's just like, but I love death metal.
It's awesome. Actually, you know what, last year, like, how Spotify gives you like your top, whatever listens that you've listened to. Like mine, there was not one death metal on my top 100. There wasn't one death metal one. Now, and this year there is, mainly because the podcast is kind of like reinvigorated me with death metal. Cause I'm like, like,
yeah, me too, low key, dude. Like watching your show makes me want to fuck with more.
Our show, dude, fuck
for sure.
No, it's just. Well, I mean, before the episode comes on, I'll be like, whatever, I'll listen to the shit. Like, I don't know, it's Joseph's guest or Casey's guest or Anthony's guest. I'm like, okay, well, I'll listen to it to understand what's going on.
Yeah,
but then I'll listen to like whatever. Like, I'm such a fucking asshole in my head. Like, but I also know that I'm an asshole, so it's fun. But like, I'll listen to it and I'll be like, okay, like whatever, I'll throw it on. I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking sick. Like that's happened. Like, I want to say like 99% of the times that like we've had a guest on that I didn't know about that Joseph brought on or that Anthony brought on or someone brought on. And I'll be like, I'll throw it on right before, like with you guys, same thing. Like I'll throw it on right before the episode, just get a vibe for their style.
Sure.
so I don't fucking have nothing to talk about.
Of course.
I'll listen to them like, oh my God, this is fucking good. Like, what the fuck? I'm not tracking this shit anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like looking for any of it.
Out, yeah.
But, so let's say, so you talk about new metal. So
yeah,
no,
dude,
all right.
We've talked about a lot. We just talked about what was Eddie's pick? What was
we did Methods of Mayhem?
Yeah, Methods of Mayhem.
Oh,
you fuck with
damn.
Methods of Mayhem, dude?
Oh no, I don't. But I've heard Tommy Lee's the singer, guitar player, right?
Yeah, guitar player, and Tilo, the other vocalist.
I was there. Actually,
was good.
That was one of the fucking the shows that I got in for backstage because I was a kid like interviewing bands and stuff at the time. I like shook their hands and shit. But I didn't really. I saw Tommy Lee and shit. That was fucking crazy. But as far as like then we show up and they start playing and I'm with like my Filipino friends that are like fucking gnarly. They're like gnarly. So they're like sitting there and like I don't even know like why this is a thing. I don't think it's even a thing, but like he was just yelling at Tommy Lee the whole time. He's like screaming at him. He's just all like wife beater, yelling and shit like that. I'm like, and like we're like Tommy Lee could hear, and I'm like, dude, like stop. Like, I'm like a little, I'm like a child. I'm like 14 or 15 years old.
How old
I'm like,
was this kid saying that? Was he 14 or 15?
No, it was his like uncle drove us, who was like 30 or 40. Like an old dude that was. I mean. Now I'm that age, but like at the time, that was an old dude that we were with. He was the guy that was in charge of getting us there.
Okay.
Like, like making sure we're okay. We were we were like, like we're not drinking. We're just kids, just like running around a fucking a 50,000 person festival. And he's just like yelling wife beater at fucking. I don't know if that was like ever a thing with Tommy Lee though. Now that I think about it,
did he beat Pamela? He fucked Pamela Anderson.
I think there might have been like
I think there was
he definitely had sex with her.
Yeah,
there's proof of that.
I've seen it.
There's evidence.
Yeah,
I believe he did catch like a domestic dispute charge.
Did he?
I think so.
Yeah, he definitely did. I know he has in the past, but
okay.
It was.
I think that was like right at the height of that.
It was pre Pamela though. It was Heather.
Yeah, right.
Locklear,
Heather Locklear,
which they touched on in
that's right.
fucking
also,
movie.
Though, weird thing
on the dirt.
Yeah, they did. Weird thing to shout out though to Methods of Mayhem show. Like, come on, man, that's in the past.
Never forget. Like,
never forget.
That's so funny. No.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of like because I was like I said, I was like at the time I was interviewing these bands. I was deep in that new metal scene. Like I was like, you could pretty much drop like any new metal band. I probably know a couple songs. Like, but as far as
sick.
What? As far as
Mushroom Head.
Yeah,
it's an easy.
That's an easy one.
They're just a fun.
Okay. Let's go down a rabbit hole. Like, let's go to the underground. My brain right now. I'm
first
drinking.
album by Finger 11. You fuck with that at all?
I know Finger 11, but no, I don't know. Actually, I don't know the songs.
Yeah, that's a good deep cut. That's
actually, I think Seven Dust and Spine Shank were like probably my favorite. Like,
okay.
Seven Dust
new metal bands.
Spine Shank's awesome.
Yeah, Spine Shank. Remember Silent Civilian, the band that's
when he moved to Chicago.
Shank?
Yeah.
Did he move to Chicago?
Yeah, and he started that
Silent
project
Civilian
here.
Say it one more time. Say it one more time.
Have you ever heard of
Johnny Santos, the singer from Spine Shank, moved to Chicago.
Johnny Santos.
Yeah, he started the band
Silent Civilian. They were on that label Media Scare Records. Remember Media Scare?
Oh, I don't mean yeah,
dude.
Totally,
somebody recently.
I saw that band.
Somebody told me. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
God damn. Yeah, that's funny.
It was crazy at the old chocolate factory.
Wow. That's insane. Yeah, I remember. I heard
Dan Kenny's one of those guys. He's all you like Spine Shake. He's all. I'll call Johnny Santos right now. I'm just like hand me the phone. I'm like, God damn it! Like I don't know what to say to him right now. Like,
that's so funny, man. But yeah, I remember. I heard from somebody that Media Scare was like a drug front for the dude who owned it because he was importing drugs and selling them. And
I've heard that rumor
he was using
too.
Media Scare as like a laundering operation, which would make sense as to why they treated their band so badly over the years. But
they don't have any money, but we're making all this money.
Oh, okay.
It's just like I can't confirm it, but
I know it's all rumors.
Yeah, it's just really like interesting to think about because you remember Burning the Masses probably, right? They were.
Oh yeah.
I
know that Son of Aurelius toured with them. Yeah,
dude, totally. I loved that band, and they were like one of the only death metal bands on Media Scare. But I remember being like,
they were just like insane kids, shredder kids.
Oh yeah,
right? They were like insane shredders.
They were young.
They were very young. Yeah, Chase and their drummer is on tour with Vitriol right now.
Oh, so cool.
Sick.
Yeah, shout out Chasen. He's the man. So fucking good. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's brilliant.
That's fucking sick, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking wild because I saw them when I was a kid, and they were just like a year or two older than I was, and I was like, well, they're really ahead of where I'm at, you know, like. Yeah. But I mean, there was another band that got treated like shit by Media Scare, and lo and behold, you know, they don't really do shit, I don't think, anymore. At all, really.
I mean, those new metal days, like back in the day, actually, two quick stories in one.
Oh, yeah.
So I got like backstage to Ozfest. I was 14 years old. I brought my best friend at the time with me, who was like, I was like, dude, I'm going to go interview Soulfly right now on their bus.
Hell yeah.
And like with a little tape recorder, like a little like,
Walkman.
So what's your influence? I don't even know the questions. I wish I mean, actually, you know what? I have a box somewhere where that tape is probably somewhere, but
That's awesome.
My prepubescent, like, what's your favorite band? Like, you know, like that would probably be like that. But we walked back there, and Disturbed was a brand new band. Disturbed had just come out. Stupefy had just dropped, and they were like a brand new band. So like they were opening the second stage of Ozfest.
Yeah.
And I walked back there, and David Draymond comes up to me. And I'm like a little kid. I'm like fucking like looking at the backstage. It's like, you know, I'm 14, dude. I'm a little child. Like looking at the backstage.
You guys
like,
the same height?
I probably have no idea.
He's a little dude.
But I was like, he came up to me and he's just all like, the guy in front of me was like, dude, great set. You guys fucking killed it. Because they were like exploding at the time. They were like just starting their like whatever they, you know, because I never got into Disturbed because it was like right at the end of one of my new metal my new metal was ending when Disturbed was starting.
That's fair.
But as far as like, so he came up and he was just all like, the guy in front of me was like the record executive guy was just all like, fucking great set. And David Draymond just walks right up to me. I didn't say anything to him, and he just shakes my hand. He's all, thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't say good set, dude. I just remember the awkwardness of it. I'm like, okay, I'm just like fucking eyes are fucking huge, and I'm friends with that band Kitty now. And,
yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So Kitty, that was the first time I ever got to stand on stage. The record dude from Roadrunner brought me on stage with Kitty.
Monty Connor, was it that guy?
No, I think it was, I have no idea. It was Carl Severson's like acquaintance or something like that.
Okay.
But they like brought me on stage, and I'm like standing on stage with Kitty, and they're still like setting up their stuff. They're like basically my age. They're like 2 years older than me. I'm 14.
Yeah.
They're like 2 years. They're like kids too. Yeah. And they bring me right next to the drummer and just stand me right there. It's like a fucking humongous Ozfest. And they start playing, and I'm just sitting there like, and I remember Morgan walks up to the mic, and she's still like, she puts both horns up, and she goes, like growls in the mic. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was like, these are like, you know, at the time it was like 1999 or 2000 or something like that.
Jeez.
I'm like, what the fuck? This like these tiny little cute girls are going up and just like growling into the mic. And it was a totally like life changing like thing. I was sitting there just going like, well, the drummer's like playing her drums, and she's like staring at me. I'm like, stop looking at me, dude. I was like, it was such a weird event for me, and I just got myself into too much. You know, I lied to them. I told them I was 18. Jesus. You know, like a bunch of things I like lied about to get to this point, and I'm like there, and I'm like, oh shit, this is like real now, and I'm here. It still almost seems like a dream. Like it doesn't even seem like a
crazy.
Like even me being in Decrepit Birth, it seems like a different. Like I watched last night. We threw on a Odious Mortem video that I haven't seen in fucking forever. We threw it on, and I was like, I don't even know who that guy is. Like I don't even know. That's just like a different human. Like I don't even know. I can't play that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that had to be nuts, man. Because were you involved in the band when they wrote Polarity? When Polarity was written?
Yeah, so Polarity, I joined when did I join?
Did you join when Diminishing dropped?
Diminishing had just come out.
Yeah,
when I joined. So it was literally dropping. The album was coming out like basically when I joined. Okay. So then it became like, it was like tour. And then it was like, okay, we got 6 months off to write Polarity and like have an album for the record. Because now we're on Nuclear Blast. We're like on also Nuclear Blast. All these expectations, people. I'm like, okay, you need to do this, blah, blah. Like, yeah, were they on
Nuclear Blast when you had joined, or did that come in after?
They came in after. They were basically like, I joined and then like they got the Nuclear Blast deal. Damn. And then it was like, fuck, we have like a team behind us now. Yeah. It was pretty incredible, like to see. The craziest part about Polarity was like, to be honest with you, like Matt did, like there's some songs I hadn't even like to this day I haven't like listened to like extensively. Like I've because Matt basically like we had like 4 or 5 songs, and then Matt just locked himself in a room and just wrote the rest of it. And then and Casey threw a song in there. There's the Casey songs, and like he has some shit in there. Dan has some shit in there, I think, from Odious. I think he wrote some stuff. I think sick. So. But Matt just took it, arranged it, got it like fucking all dialed in. And then was just all like for bass for me, it was like, oh, well, like just do the songs you know. And I was like, all right, well, I just did the songs I knew. And I hadn't even heard the other songs until the album came out. Like I had no idea, because it was such like a rush kind of phase that we were in. Like I'd hang out there for, I'd help Bill or just help out with the record. I'd probably sitting there the whole time, but I would be there like for Bill recording vocals and stuff like that. And I'd just be in Matt's little like studio. And, before I knew it, like I hadn't heard all of Polarity all the way through, probably till 7 years out of the band.
Wow.
Like, I hadn't actually listened to it.
Why?
Like, I didn't even know the songs.
Damn. Huh. Yeah, because you guys only played a few songs off. It
wasn't. Yeah, we used to play Symbiosis, Polarity, and Megatron.
Yep,
that's what we would play off of it.
I've seen all of those live.
Yeah, so. That was just part of the set. And for me, like it wasn't my band, and it was one of those things where I was like so overwhelmed, and I was actually falling out of love with music at the time, just because I was just being so just hitting the road. Like the tours we do, dude, it would just murder you. It'd be like we did 40 shows straight, 40 shows, 40 days.
Holy
like
shit!
Death metal, just decrepit. It was like show, off day, show, like 40 times. And by the time I was done with that tour, I remember the process of me going back home, having my bass case, throwing it in my closet, and just shutting it. Be like, fuck this fucking thing. I was so burnt out on it, because it wasn't like I had no creative. I mean, Matt did give me creative, like he would, offer me creative input, but it wasn't my project really. So I just kind of like, I was like, dude, like I got thrown to the fire right away. I've just been like playing shows with you guys, like, and I love all of them. They're like, I talked to Matt today. Like I talked to, they're still like my good friends, and I love them to death. But it was just like playing, like everyone, like we'd start hitting the road constantly. And there'd be times where like, basically people treat you when you're on the road like that. People treat you like to them, it's their Friday, but like to you, it's your fucking whatever. You've been fucking slaving for so hard. And they will like treat you like, oh my God, you're here, blah, blah. You gotta do this, gotta do that, and then you go to the next show. It's like, gotta do this, gotta do that. And it's like all these friends that you make and stuff. And you're just like, after a while, you're just like, dude, like I'm very social, and I'll go out and hang out with people, and fucking, of course,
but it's a lot.
End up at random places and stuff. And you're just like, every day you're just like, fuck, like all these people have these memories of me. Like even that band Zoth I was talking about that we saw at Blue Lagoon, the bass player I was talking about the bar is like, oh, you're Joel. Yeah. That time in Michigan I was like, I have no idea. Yeah. He's like, I'm Crazy Mike.
Oh, okay.
I'm like,
what up,
I have
Crazy
no
Mike?
idea. It's like, I have no idea.
What's good, Crazy Mike? He sounds crazy.
I know. It's just a lot of stimulus. And for me, being like a child, I grew up wanting to be alone. I wanted to be like, my mom would contact other mothers at my school and would be like, hey, do you mind if your son comes over to hang out with my son? Because he doesn't want to hang out with anyone. Yeah. He was like, I went from that to like being a socialite, fucking wanting to hang out with everyone. And so it was like, it was just a lot at once. And, it was fun though. I mean, obviously like I've met so many fucking cool people. Obviously the podcast is reflected in that.
Oh yeah.
But it's just it was just too much for me at once. I was just like, dude,
especially when you're,
I wasn't having fun. After a while, I was like, there was the time that I decided to quit Decrepit was in Milwaukee. We were playing a sold out show at the Rave with like 1,500 people. And Bill said something, and I jumped on the monitor and put my arms up, and I had 1,500 people with their arms up with me. Yeah. And the thought in my head is, I want to go home.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh fuck, I'm done. Like I was like, that's it, dude. Like you're doing the thing that you looked up as a kid, like you wanted to always do, and you want to go home. Yeah. And I was like,
what tour was that on? Do you remember?
Oh, I think it was Summer Slaughter with the Necrophagist. I think that was
okay. Because you didn't you?
No, it might have been later than that.
Yeah, you did the 2010
I did
slaughter.
2 summer slaughters, 2 or 3 summer slaughters. Yeah.
Because 2010 was when it came out. So
yeah, no, it came out on my birthday on July 27th. Yeah. In Atlanta, remember that?
That's fucking
awesome. That was But yeah, it's just like, some people are cut out for it. I mean, I can handle the tour stuff, and it's the hardest job I've ever done.
Shit, look at Bill now. Bill just announced he's not doing Decrepit Birth, right? Or he's not doing.
Yeah, I just talked to him on the phone. Yeah, he'll be back for sure.
Yeah,
I thought for sure, like, because Mac was a stall, because Mac hit me up. He's a stall, like, he was like kind of fucking with me. I was fucking with him. I was like, "You're joining Fallujah or something? Like, what's going on?" I was like making these like. He's all close. And then the next day it got announced. I was like, fuck you, dude. Like, I was in that band. You couldn't just tell me, like, what the fuck? Yeah. It's like, yeah. But no, that's.
So I wanted to ask, did you and Casey leave Decrepit Birth at the same time?
We did not. So Casey on that Vader tour.
Yeah.
That was the last tour that Casey did with Decrepit Birth.
Okay. I gotcha.
There was just the money thing.
Yeah.
Like, we weren't promised anything, but we were like, with the money we were making a night and all the things, we were like, okay, well, we're going to be able to pull in a certain amount of money. And Casey's got to work his fucking ass off. Like, he's a drummer.
Oh, yeah.
Got to set up his drums every night. Just like you know how it goes. Like, you set up your drums, you got to do the whole thing. You got, like, for me, I just I carry a refrigerator on stage, and then I stumble on the stage and I'm done. So, and actually, towards that time of the tour of my touring life was like, actually started having a tech. So I got like a person that would be like, the coolest thing for me ever in tour was like I got to like sometimes leave shows and just put my arms up, and then he'd just take my bass off, and I just got to just go hang out with people. Like, that was like literally my favorite thing ever. You guys are frozen.
Yeah.
Oh no, you froze up for a second too. I think we got you back though. Can you hear us? Hello?
Oh, I heard something.
We'll catch up. We're catching up. My internet doesn't say it's out yet, so I think we still got him.
Man.
Damn, I wonder if that was that Vader tour. That's fucking insane. Oh, yeah, there you are. Can you hear us?
Oh, there I am.
Yeah, alrighty. Fuck yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're back.
So was that on that Vader tour you had a tech?
It was on the Vader tour. So,
wow.
I mean, it might have been, I think it was Vader. We had a Meatball, who's like still one of my good friends.
Was he touring in your van with you?
Yeah, we had the meat hole for him. The meat hole was under the seats.
Oh my God.
He like slept under the seats.
Oh, and how hard was that?
He was just dude, that guy is just fucking down to help out. Like, and he ended up getting like Exodus gigs and stuff like that. He ended up moving up and he was like, he was just part of the band kind of, thing. And a lot of people didn't like him because he was fucking weird and like wear a Paramore shirt all the time. And people, he's just he was like a very interesting kind of guy.
Sure.
But no, he would be like literally standing on the stage, like he's like watching all of our eyes on the side of the stage.
Yeah.
And I used to just all the time fuck him and be like, dude, what the fuck? I'll do that all the time. He'd run on stage and I'm just kidding, dude. I'm just fucking
dude, you're terrible. As a guitar tech, that's terrible.
I know. It's like a boy that cried wolf. He's like, well, actually, when my shit's fucked up, he's gonna be like,
he's gonna be like, that's it.
Fuck this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so funny.
But
that's fucking funny. But yeah, so Casey just wasn't getting paid. And for all that,
I mean, it was a bunch of things. I mean, Casey, we were all kind of coming. Dan, actually, I think might have been his last tour too. Dan from Odious, I think.
Oh yeah.
We kind of were just like, I was in a point where I could still afford it somehow. Like I still had a job, so I would like come home and work, and I could afford it. But that tour was kind of a rough one. We had like van problems, so a lot of the funds went into that, and like we probably would have got like a couple $1,000, but then the van was like fucking costing us thousands of dollars. So all of a sudden, like we get nothing, maybe a few $100s. And my rent at the time was like $600 or $700. I had $0. And so I think the same thing with him. He was just like, dude, I just can't fucking do this anymore. I just can't like, and that ended up happening to me a few tours later. Yeah. Like after a few tours later, I was the same. I did like another Summer Slaughter. I did the Suffocation Faceless tour and another tour, I think. And, I was just like, dude, it was a headway. It was like, I hit the spot where I was like, dude, like I either have to make like $2,000 this tour, which has happened maybe once in my life, or like I'm gonna be fucked. Like I'm gonna be completely fucked. So and the amount of tours I did versus making that much money, I was like, dude, the odds are definitely not stacked in my favor. So I just have to, I'm not. It's not my project. I'm not gonna fucking do the whole, like, I'm going to sell all my stuff and like, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to be somebody someday. I was not in that mode. I was kind of like in the like survival, like, dude, I like beds. I like sleeping in beds. They're pretty tight. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, like, so it just came down to that. And it was nothing personal. I was training people to, you know, I was hitting up people to take my spot constantly. Just, you know, I think they got Derek Boyer back for that one, which was awesome.
Oh, wow. Hell yeah.
But, and then, basically I was just hitting up people, just like, I was trying to like not leave a shitty taste in anyone's mouth. Like I'm leaving.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just finally things couldn't happen, you know, anymore for me. So, but you know, I sacrificed my 20s in it and it was awesome. And I'll never forget the things that I got to see and do and people I got to meet and stuff, but it's just one of those things that's just like the passion in someone else's project. And still, even if it's my project now, the touring, I'm just burnt, dude. I'm just so burnt. Like, you know.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I did a lot at once.
Yeah, and you really did. I mean, you lived through a lot of shit that a lot of bands in that caliber don't really reach to that quickly, you know? I mean,
totally.
Fuck, Decrepit.
We're in the middle of it.
Yeah, I mean, Decrepit Birth was really like, I mean, you guys were getting tours Discords weren't getting, you know, you were getting tours that like Severed Savior weren't getting, you know, you guys were like that representation of that like really like California death metal shit. Like that's where you would really see it. That was my biggest exposure to it. And I mean, I knew who Odious was and I was like, damn, most of that band is in Decrepit Birth. No wonder, you know, it's just like these guys are all sick. So yeah, man, it's pretty fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to make money doing this or not? That's like kind of like, I mean, also too, we also worshiped Decrepit Birth. So we were like,
of course,
the fact that we got to play in Decrepit Birth, we're like, well, obviously we have to play with you because like, and we love Bill and we love Matt and we love those are our friends.
Yeah,
so we're like, so we're friends. We're all stoners. We're all like, we all have these common things in mind. So of course, we love playing the most crazy death metal we can play. Like, let's just do this. And, you know, it was fun. And seriously, I look back on it like some of the best times of my life. Oh, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, no, it just touring though, just kicks the shit out of you.
Yeah, dude. It definitely does. I love it though. And we definitely, I have to tell you off air, but I will tell you about something I think you might find exciting off the air when we're done with this.
Nice.
But it's just like, for us, I mean, at least for us, our experience, like I didn't do my first tour till I was 27. So, you know, it was like, all right, I kind of got my head on a little bit more straight. I'm not a dirt broke teenager. You know what I mean? So it was like, and all of us, like, we definitely make it a point to manage our money as well as we can on the road and manage our band's money as well as we can on the road. And, you know, we're not, I mean, it's definitely been like a slow bloom for us, but I would rather do something like that than get in a position where it's just like, oh, fuck, I have no money and I'm eating like crumbs on tour, you know, like I'm never in that. We're luckily never in that position, which is nice. Good. But, you know, I mean, every band operates so differently. You know what I mean? Like bands run their own businesses so differently, like, and it's a different ball game. You know, it's like how many, like,
I was literally like, I was in dumpsters. I was in dumpsters to eat.
Yeah.
Like I was in,
nobody should be doing that.
I was on tour with like, I was playing in front of like 1,500 people a night. And I was literally like diving dumpsters to get like at certain food companies to get like food to eat because I couldn't afford rent and food. I could afford rent.
See, that's silly. It's just like, I can't. So how can you not dive into your band's merch sale and give somebody $10 to like go get a meal? You know what I mean? Like, even if it's shit Taco Bell or shit McDonald's, it's like shit. You could
better than nothing.
Have a fucking feast. Like when we get our buyouts, like we usually just use them. Or sometimes we'll save them, but sometimes we'll just use them. Sometimes we're like, yeah, let's just take them and go get some food. You know, like
totally.
Yeah, I mean, totally. Every band operates differently. When you're at a certain level, you got to operate a different way. So, you know, I respect.
I mean, we would get money, but it was just like the town that I'm living in. Like I'm choosing to live in the more expensive part of the United States.
Yep, and you're draining your.
Yeah, it was a thing where it wasn't like. Yeah, and it was, and after hitting the United States constantly, like I fell in love with my town more because like. You find reasons to bitch about anything if you're there long enough. You know what I mean? Like you'll find reasons to whatever, complain about things. But like when you go through like, you know, most of tour is the South. That's most of tour is the South, the middle of the country. That's more the chunk of the geography is the south. That's where you're going to be going. And you're going through there and you're like, fuck, dude, do not want to live here. Like, this is not like, it's not like the coasts. So I like the coasts, but like,
of course,
I guess I'm spoiled like a little bit. And I was never from an affluent background. Like my mom and I were homeless for a long time. Like we were living out of a car for a long time, like to live here, you know what I mean? Like to live in this beautiful town. We weren't like, I never had like people like go, oh, you need money? Like, oh, here you go. I never have. I mean, my dad, mom, every now, like 2 or 3 times in my touring life, I'm like, dude, I need $200 like right now, or I can't pay rent. And they're like, all right, we'll come up with it. And they would send it to me. But that was like once or twice in my whole life that I had to fucking, I was like at dire straits.
Yeah. And that's nobody wants to be in that position either. It's like, you don't want to be doing that shit. And so it's real life. I mean, and you guys say it all the time on your show. It's just like people hit that real life wall where you're like, okay, now this isn't becoming so, you're not accustomed to it. You know what I mean? You're not ready for it. Like you were mentioning earlier on this show, you're saying where you're living now, $1,200 is a room. Like I have a 2 fucking bedroom apartment, 2 full bathroom apartment for $1,300 in the city. You know what I mean? It's just like, and I live there with my girlfriend and our pets, and it's just like, it's the shit. But it's like, I fucking love California, dude. I'm a champion of California, and like we love California as a band, but like I'm always like, man, I would love to live here. And then it's just like, I like look at it and I like laugh because I'm like, there's no fucking way I could ever afford that shit. You know? And like in a way, I'm kind of
glad. That's what I was telling like Cheney and Naveen. I was like, once you move away from here, dude, good luck coming back, because like a deposit on a house here is like, it's like you got to do first and last month's rent plus a fucking $3,000, $4,000 deposit. So you're spending like 10 grand to move back in a house here.
That's crazy.
That's insane. And
so like once you're gone, you're gone. Unless you have a hookup.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Well, shit, dude, we've kept you on for pretty fucking long here.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. I mean, I appreciate fucking the talk, man. Dude, we've actually had a good time.
Coming on the show.
I'm so stoked to be on here, dude.
Dude, what's the best
I'm going to watch UFC tonight starting in 20 minutes.
Oh, nice. Okay. I'm supposed to go shopping with my girlfriend. We're going to go to Bed Bath & Beyond. I think we have a gift card. So
get some
about to buy some real soft jerk-off towels and, all kinds of good treats. For around the apartment.
That was the Will Ferrell, the what was that one movie? He's all, I don't know, what are you guys doing this weekend? He's like, I don't know, it's gonna be next weekend. It's like maybe Bed Bath & Beyond. I don't know if I'll have enough time.
Yeah, so we're gonna try and do that. I might not actually have enough time because I don't know what time they close. They're probably not open until 11. Here I am sitting here,
you guys.
Literally thinking that.
Is it 9:30? 8:30 there?
It's 8:30.
8:30 here.
Okay, yeah. Definitely not. Because why am I thinking Bed Bath & Beyond is like open till like midnight?
I mean, it is Saturday. I'm sure they throw down late.
Yeah, they probably. It could be open till fucking 11.
There's a fucking shortage of workers. That shit ain't open. Give them that dream.
Yeah, well,
do it tomorrow.
Yeah. Well,
fuck yeah, dude. Thank you guys so much for having me on. I had a great time. It was fucking super cool. Dude, I love the free form talk, dude. That's like kind of what we try to do with our podcast, and I feel like I love being interviewed too, because I don't have to run anything. It's like I don't have to run the conversation. It's like I just hang out and talk. It's like one of the nicest fucking things ever. And I'm never going to offer like this. I'm going to do it. Fuck yeah. Love it.
Dude, we're going to get Casey on, or I'm going to try and get Casey on. I got to find the best way to contact him because I don't know how to contact him.
I'll ask him right now.
Yeah, let me know, because if he's down, I would love to have him on, and then I want to have all of you guys on our show. Yeah, so we'll have all 4 of you dudes, and just the trifecta, and we're gonna get in the nitty gritty, dude. It's gonna be fucking insane.
Hell yeah!
Like we're gonna, everybody's getting super fucked up. Anthony's got to be fucking. He cannot open his eyes drunk. He's got to be on that level. I got to be high out of my fucking brain.
I feel like none of these things are hard tasks. It should be good for everybody.
I think it'll be fun,
Totally. Totally.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, shit, dude. Thank you for coming on.
Fuck yeah, man. Anytime.
What would you like to plug? Obviously, the podcast. Where can people find it?
Podcast, YouTube, pretty much is the main thing. We have Spotify and all that stuff. Apple Podcast.
You're on everything cool now, shit. I think.
Yeah. We have just a little sneak peek. We have right now working on Odious Mortem stuff, and we're getting pre-pod done right now because we have a member that we have a new member we've added to the group, and he's like took our songs and he's recording them all right now and just doing pre-prod to like put them on fucking like a recording, and it's fucking mind-blowing. So
fuck yeah.
Yeah, man, we're really stoked for the future. We got a lot of cool stuff coming out with the Odious Mortem and All awesome. Realm is coming up, and yeah, man, it's gonna be a pretty action-packed fucking year coming up here.
Yeah, nice. That's great, man. We'll feature all that shit on the show too, so throw it our way. We'll fucking share it and fucking pump the shit out of it. Yeah. I mean, shit, at some point it'd be cool once the all realm shit drops to get you and Carrie on here, just talk about the band and shit, and you know, shoot the shit. Fucking we'll do all of it, man. Hell
We'd love it. We'd absolutely love it. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
Well, hell yeah. You got anything to plug?
Yeah, something is waiting at the.
Oh yeah, you guys are playing the bottle
the night before Thanksgiving.
That's gonna be insane, dude.
Yeah,
what a sick! Fun. That's such an Eddie Gobo fucking move to do it. Like, because I know he knows about that day in Chicago. So
yeah, well, it was funny. We had an issue with the show that we were supposed to do that didn't get announced. And this is kind of like them making up for it. So
it's good.
It worked out really well for us. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there.
That'd be fun. I think that's the only thing I can mention right now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I can't mention anything, so I'm not doing anything
you still
according
be
to the world.
Quiet, yeah.
According to the
Isn't that funny? That's like the death metal, like people always tell me like I can't talk about it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah. And then you end up finding it out from somebody at some point.
Yeah, right.
Like, I hate that, dude. I wish it didn't have to be that way, but that's the world we live in. The endless hype train to like which amalgamation are you?
Cooler than it is. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, sick guys. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with Nate for our death metal episode. Take it easy, y'all. See ya.
Nice.
Cool. All right. Fuck yeah.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for checking out this week's episode. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Feel free to drop us a like or a comment on whatever platform you listen or watch us on. Share us on whatever social media you use. Every little bit counts, so we appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys next week.